Happy Thursday, everybody. Radio the Chad Benson Show, powered by NCA National Certified Alarms. No long-term contracts. License number 645. That's right. I've got a sponsor, so you guys better step off because the alarm's going to tell me if you're lying to us. Oh, big grocery. That could be interesting. I like that. I like where Chris goes with the big grocery all the time. I'm telling you guys, my wife is going to be so upset if there is not widespread power outages in our building and she can't feed the entire family. There are water kegs everywhere. I have no idea if she gets a different weather report or if there's some sort of UFO report about something that's coming. But I'm telling you guys, it is going to be nasty. Yes, but is it going to be? I kept telling her, honey, do you think it's going to be that nasty? She goes, what do you think? I said, I think we're going to get a few inches of snow, and it's going to be cold. Cold AF. That's it. I'm excited for it. Where are my shorts today? I did. I didn't walk to work, though. So I drove today.
That's cheating.
That is cheating. I was going to walk, but here's the thing. My wife's got to go do something afterwards. And she says, well, you know what? Great. If you drive the car, that way when you drive it back, it'll be warm for when I get in it.
That's cheating.
Yeah. I'm like, no, you got to deal with it like I do. In the cold, in the chill. So, but I'm actually looking at Monday. Monday's the day of cold. Sunday, 27. Monday, 20 as your high. A 7 as your low. And then next week, we run another chance of getting some snow. But the size of the storm is pretty big, man. It's an ass whooper. I was just talking to my friend in New York, and she's like, yeah, we're prepared for it. I said, are you? She goes, yeah. She goes, it's because it's so big. It's like almost 200 million people are going to be under some sort of weather watch.
This is when all the apocalypse preppers get really excited because they get to use their MREs.
They get to use their MREs. Or you can come to my house and have apparently all of the rice you've ever dreamed of.
Hey, she only bought 40 pounds, man. That's just 10 pounds each.
It's a giant bag of rice. I was like, oh, Lord. It is just, I'm excited. Later on today, by the way, at 1:30, our buddies from USS, they're going to be on with us. And they're going to give everybody a little snapshot of like what's the best thing to do to protect, your pipes and stuff like that. Like because we've got some plants. I made them each little parkas for each leaf, and I put them on them so that way they can survive the night.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those storms, apparently. It seems like that if you're not cognizant of what you're doing in the house, you could wake up to a lot of problems.
Yes, that's the big. We get cold. It happens. It's not. I've been in freezing weather. I've played in weather that's colder than even on Monday. But when you're not set up for it, one of the things I did today for my other show, talking to some guys in Dallas, and they said, here's the thing: our homes aren't set up for this. Our stuff isn't set up for these kind of situations, and that's why it becomes an issue, is because you wake up and you think it's not going to be a big deal, and then all of a sudden all your pipes froze and you're in some trouble.
Yeah, the cost of letting your faucet drip overnight is a lot cheaper than having your plumbing replaced.
Yes. Oh, God. It's crazy. It is, and I heard Ken and them talking about how much snow is or isn't coming, and I'm like, would it be, like, you don't get it wrong. Like that's the thing about a meteorologist. When I was in England one time, there was a guy, I think his name was Dr. Fish or whatever. He was their big meteorologist. He said the cyclone hurricane was not going to hit the island, not going to hit England. It smashed into us, and to the day he died, never lived it down because it was that bad. So
that's why we always blame the meteorologist.
That's right. Well,
we
now that
want
we know
exact notes. We don't want guesses. We don't want maybes. We want you to tell us precisely what's going to happen, even though you only have so much science that you can count on when it comes to the weather.
But you have technology now, man. You have science and technology. That's the beauty of it. You got both, so you'd know what's happening.
But if a hurricane decides to go left instead of right, that's the meteorologist's fault.
Remember when Trump drew on the thing, on the map, trying to make it look like it went around? It's like, look at it. It went around that way. We'll talk a little bit about Trump later on today. Did he taco? Or did he get what he want? I've been looking at some of the stuff. I've got some of what we got for Greenland. And It's interesting. It's like we get to have bases, okay? And they get to be our bases, sovereign bases, okay? Who did we have on? What was his name? Whitlock. Remember when Whitlock was on with us? He was talking about how bad Sinners was. That's a movie that's racist and all.
Isn't that the one with the vampire movie with
Michael B. Jordan?
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan.
And Haley Steinfeld?
And if you only went by the painting used for the poster, you would think it was like some 1920s gangster movie.
Yeah, because that's what they come back from World War I, and they're at a I guess it would be like a juke joint, juke, one of those things. And they vampires show up. And then at the end of the movie, apparently the Klan shows up and they kill the Klan too. And there's like, that's why it's the most racist movie in history. And I'm like, my uncle is very MAGA, like so MAGA, it's crazy. And he sees it because he sees every movie that comes out. And he says to me, that was not. He goes, I never even thought it that way. I'm like, you really have to be looking at that. And he agrees with you. He refused to see Avatar.
It's garbage.
Yeah, that's what he said. It's garbage. Absolute. So we have so much good stuff to do. But yes, kids, this weekend, it's going to be cold. It's going to be nasty for a couple days. We'll survive. I will tell you, though, the ice is interesting because we've been, on Bell have meetings earlier about making sure all the producers are ready. And we had meetings, everybody, this morning about does your stuff work at home? It'll be interesting to see how Matt's stuff works because the snow, like Matt said yesterday, man, snow's easier to drive on than ice because you don't know where the ice is that's coming. And I've hit some black ice before, and I've hydroplaned, and it gets ugly because you think I could turn into it, I could do this. If it wants to do whatever it wants to do, it's going to. So
that's what killed Cliff Burton.
What?
From Metallica. They were touring in Sweden, and the bus hit black ice, spun out, and fell over, and he was ejected, and the bus landed on him.
Wow. That sucks. That's a horrible way to go.
But, I mean, it just goes to show you, you can't assume everything's going to be okay. You got to drive carefully in this mess.
Like we always talk about, the nature. There's nothing more powerful than nature, right? Like nature is a beast, and you got to be super careful. Drive so slow in certain areas.
Nature will mess you up, and it ain't just the animals.
It ain't just the although some of those attacks in Australia. I was watching some of the stuff down under. So 4 attacks. One guy's leg, he survived, but he's never going to walk again the right way. The little boy that was attacked the other day, they do not think he's going to make it. They told his family, prepare for the worst. And because part of the thing is, it's not just the loss of blood, it's also there's a lot of infections that go with those bites and stuff. And that's what they think is getting him. But there were 2 surfers that didn't know the kid who swam over to him to take him away from the shark. And they got him on shore, but it was brutal. But nature will mess you up. And that girl that was killed by the dingo, that's what they think it was, a dingo. Now it was a bunch of dingoes around him. And now they're calling for culling sharks and dingoes. Always go right to the kill. Always go right to the kill.
Never consider the fact that you are in their environment and they are just doing what they do, which is trying to eat.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. They thought originally the girl had drowned because she was on the. So this is here's the perfect example of the chaos that's Australia because it's summertime there. It is. They thought she drowned, and then she was apparently though she passed out, and the dingoes got her. And then on the other side of that, you've got if you walk a few steps further, you're in the ocean where everything can eat you. Oh, and they have the world's worst jellyfish. Oh, and they have everything that can kill you. But we're gonna try to dive into all this stuff today. It's some interesting stuff out there. Besides that, yesterday in Davos, before Trump and everything, the Prime Minister of Canada gave a big speech, and the speech was rather interesting about the new world order that we've all been living under. That really isn't a new world order and hasn't been. It's basically been the Western countries dominating the globe and doing whatever they want, whenever they want, essentially. And nobody really paying attention and doing the things that we were supposed to do, which I find to be interesting. Talk a little bit about Trump today. Davos, he's over there. We've got the new Gaza. That's pretty awesome. So we've got a full board of governors and board members for the rebuilding of Gaza. And, as Trump says, it's great real estate. It's great real estate, guys. We got Ken back there. What's happening, Ken?
Just looking at the weather models, boys.
We should probably do it at least once.
Now it's time for the Weather Wizard's Snowpocalypse 2026 update.
Tell us about the Snow King. Yeah.
Every day I could do that.
But here's the problem about the snow, Brother Chad. It's starting to look more like ice for I-40 and south. Like right now, as far as snow chances go, let's say, I'm going to start with this. At least 3 inches of snow, there is a 40 to 70% chance.
Okay.
Of at least 3 inches. So it looks like with that going up to 70%, we're at least going to get 3 inches of snow.
Okay.
But here's the weekend ice chances. Everybody is like above 50% chance for ice. Everybody in Middle Tennessee, but especially along and south of I-40.
Okay.
More snow north of I-40, still ice north of I-40, but more snow north of I-40 than south of I-40. So it's looking like most of the ice will be along and south of I-40 if that's what it turns out to be. And then, of course, what we've been talking about is the bitter cold, dude.
That's the big thing.
We're not going to get above freezing until hopefully the middle of next week.
And I saw that, was it Monday? Now they've changed it to 7 is our overnight low?
Yeah. Dude, that's crazy.
I'm walking out on the closed-in porch in my underwear just because I can.
Oh, wait a minute, dudes. 5 degrees Sunday night.
5 degrees.
Doing it.
That's all. I'm putting Speedos on when I take the dogs down.
I might wear socks, but I'm thinking no.
I'm going to wear Speedos and a hat. I'm going to walk the dogs down. Well, you know what's weird? Like if I was to jump into cold icy water, right, to refresh myself, I'd feel good, yeah? For it feels good for you? It feel nice? Everybody be fine with that. But I look weird because I have Speedos and, a hat on? Whew. I got nice legs. That's what I'm telling you guys. So it's going to be cold. That's what we're saying. Like I said, later on next hour, our buddies over at USS are going to come on. They're going to teach you how to kind of weatherproof some of the stuff you don't think about.
Ah, yeah.
And remember, if you guys want, I've got a pattern. I made little tiny parkas for all of the leaves on my trees. Each one of them got an individual leaf tree parka. It's pretty awesome.
All
I don't have any trees.
right.
What'd you make them out of?
Well, I got some of that old. I had some old army pants, and I cut those up, right? Like when army pants were in style.
Yeah.
And then I got some fur from some of the stuffies around the house that my daughter has, right? And then I made it's good. It's good.
Those trees are living with somebody that really cares.
Oh, goodness me. A lot of good stuff to get to. We're going to talk a bit about the Oscars later. Uvalde, if you guys haven't heard, there was a verdict yesterday in the Adrian Gonzalez case. He was...
They have no responsibility to protect you.
Nope, they do not. And the jury said so as well. Talk a bit about that. And then, yes, we're going to talk about the Oscars. Some of you are chiming in about that movie, Sinners. Set a record today, by the way, 16 nominations.
It's called Sinners?
Sinners. Yeah. So, Sinners.
Sinners!
That's the one that Whitlock said that was the most racist movie he's ever seen, except for the part where it stars all black people that kill all kinds of demons and vampires and what?
Goodness.
Yeah, it's an interesting movie. But I've seen a little bit of it, but I'm going to watch the rest of it tonight instead of watching my love movies on Hallmark as I wake up. All right.
Love movies.
I do. I got so many. One was today. What was today? Which one? I mean, I've watched 3 today because I've been up for a while. And one of them, Australia. She went to Australia to shear sheep. And she fell in love with the guy.
Sheep?
She fell in love. They saved Barbara the sheep, but she fell in love with the guy who she went there to impress this guy's sister. They didn't know they were related, and he happens to be like the biggest wine guy in the world. Oh, it was great.
And they got married. Then they found out they were related and decided to stay together.
Yeah. No. They were related. She went there to talk to the lady that ran the place, only to find out her brother did eventually. Like a real story should be. If you missed any of the show, we say shame on you, grab the podcast. Welcome to the freezing episode of the Chad Benson Show. Super Talk 99.7. All right, guys, Relief Factor is awesome. I give it out to all my soccer buddies. Say, try this stuff. I want to get a good feel for it. And they tell me all the time how much better they feel the recovery after playing. I sent my buddy some the other day, my best friend growing up. He's my age, played in a big tournament. He says, dude, I feel amazing. I said, I know, right? It's incredible. What it does is it attacks the pathways where the inflammation takes place. So it goes after that inflammation in your body. It's got omega-3 fatty acids. It's got resveratrol, all this stuff in it. And inflammation is, you want to know, partly from what we eat, but also just we age, we get older. What happens? Our body starts to feel sore, especially if we do anything extra. This helps you with all of that. You will feel better in weeks. I want you to try a Jumpstart trial bag. It's a trial bag. It's 3 weeks. It's $19.95. You're going to see and feel an amazing difference in your body. That recovery, especially if you're working out a little bit more, is so fast. Try it now. Just $19.95. It's called Relief Factor. Go to relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Call 1-800-4-RELIEF, 1-800-4-RELIEF for Relief Factor.
All right, we're going to tell you what we know so far about this ever-changing forecast, the potential for a winter storm that's going to dump snow and ice on us this weekend. Also, we've got Tennessee Highway Patrol Colonel defending its DUI arrest practices after investigations that found sober drivers were taken to jail. This story and more at 12:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
This was really the first criminal trial stemming from this botched police response, and a lot of hope was riding on this case. They thought this was a fleeting opportunity for some kind of justice after this tragedy, one of the worst shootings in U.S. history. But just after about 2 weeks of testimony, we get this stunning acquittal on all counts.
Yeah, they wasted no time with an acquittal. Went right to the jury. They spent, 7-8 hours total? And they found him not guilty on all charges. He was charged with 29 charges of child endangerment and abandoning a child or whatever. And I think he faced in total 2 years for each. So he could have, in theory, faced 58 years in prison. He got none of it. He's not going to jail. And we were talking about it. They're under no obligation to protect you.
That's actually a Supreme Court ruling.
There's been a few of those. No obligation to protect you. This is the uncle of one of the kids who is, let's just say, not everybody is obviously thrilled by this. Some of these people are beyond pissed. Understandable.
The jury may have found him as innocent, but in the court of public opinion, he is a coward and an absolute 100% failure on that day.
Yes, I don't think anybody's debating that. He was the first one to show up. And the defense argued, dude did everything right. He didn't know what was going on, how many people were there, and he did it all right. I wasn't there. I do know 19 kids died, 2 teachers, a bunch of people were wounded, 77 minutes of hell. Lots of cops were around there, and eventually the Border Patrol. And what ended up happening? He took his own life. I mean, they came in and got him eventually and shot him and killed him. But 77 minutes took him that long, which we have seen since then, obviously with the Covenant and everywhere else. They're not waiting. They go. There's no more, let's try to negotiate. Let's try. They just go.
And the cops that rushed the Covenant shooter didn't even take the time to put the right body armor on. They just went in and found her and smoked her.
Yep. And so we'll see. Obviously they're all getting big settlements and stuff. I think there's one more trial, right? Isn't that the idiot chief?
I believe the chief, yeah. I thought he had already undergone a trial, but I'm not
I don't
sure.
think. Yeah, God, that guy's such an idiot. Do you remember he wanted to stick around, be chief, and still sit on the city council?
Right. Yeah.
How oblivious would you have to be to do that? How do you not have any self-awareness that, hey, you know what? Maybe you need to leave town forever.
Yeah, let's see. The focus will now be on the next officer who will go on trial on charges of child abandonment. Pete Arredondo, the former Uvalde Schools police chief.
Yep.
He was the school police chief.
He was the school police chief. And remember what he said? Well, when a lot of people showed up, I didn't know who was in charge.
Well, since you're the school police chief.
Yeah, you would have been in charge.
I would think that the school police chief would be in charge.
Because before everybody else got there, you were there, along with that guy and several others. The only one I have any respect for is the guy that was a police officer they took into custody after his wife was shot. Because remember, he was going in on his own.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
If you're not sure who's in charge, take charge until you find out somebody of a higher rank is there.
Yes, exactly. Until you're told by somebody, this is our show now.
Well, and going back to, the terrible tragedy here in Nashville at Covenant, I don't think those officers were waiting to figure out who was in charge.
No,
not even the least.
No. And you know what? You have to think that's on their mind. We don't want to look like idiots, right? We don't want to look like a-holes. We don't want to look like cowards. Guys, we got to go. We got to protect these kids. We got to do this. This could be just as bad. And we also don't want to be, the ones where everybody goes, you guys could have done more, right? Because for a lot of these things, there's always secondhand, Monday morning quarterbacking in some of these things. Parkland's the same thing, that officer, this, that, and the other. But when it comes to Covenant, there's none of that.
No.
It was just go. Coming up, we'll have another update on the gorgeous weather outside. I'm getting pretty excited about the slush coming. I'm very excited about that. Plus, I put together a really good monk one. You guys, the monk watch. They're wandering, guys. It's awesome, too. It's getting cold. They're starting to bundle up, but people are still showing up. Those guys are showing out, baby.
All right.
I love that. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, tracking the potential for snow, sleet, freezing rain, several days of below freezing temperatures. Full forecast in 5 minutes. ABC News Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z says this forecast is still changing.
A lot of Pacific and Gulf moisture meeting up with that serious Arctic that's coming far south. So ice in the middle, right? Dallas over north of Little Rock over to Nashville, Raleigh, Virginia Beach, even into Delaware is going to ride along and depend very heavily on where that low pressure system system sets up. So that's why you're seeing changes in the forecast, because as we get closer, it's going to be a very, very narrow line that ends up with the worst of that icing.
Yeah, here in Middle Tennessee, the National Weather Service says most of the ice is going to impact everyone along and south of I-40. Tennessee Highway Patrol defending its DUI arrest practices after a WSMV investigation and other media found sober drivers being taken to jail. Colonel Matt Perry rejected claims of a quota system, told lawmakers troopers rely on field sobriety tests.
There was some news articles that were forwarded to me, and it has to do with people being stopped and actually arrested for DUI, but there was no evidence of that.
There's certainly no quota like some of these articles have pushed.
Now, Colonel Perry acknowledged the impact on people whose charges were later dismissed, but says no improper arrests have been identified from internal investigations. Lawmakers were told THP's reviewing, training, and consulting outside agencies on improvements. And a Southern California firefighter who had battled last year's massive wildfires under arrest, accused of murdering his wife with an axe over an alleged affair.
45-year-old Andrew Jimenez is a firefighter in Glendale next door to L.A. On Wednesday, the LAPD says he walked into a police station requesting a welfare check for his wife. When officers arrived at their home, 55-year-old Myra Jimenez, an elementary school teacher, was found dead, allegedly killed with an axe by her husband. Neighbors looked on at the police response.
Next thing you know, they found an axe. They said they found an axe.
An attorney for Andrew Jimenez indicates there was a diary that belonged to Myra that Andrew allegedly read moments before the murder. That diary allegedly talked about infidelity. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Patchy but dense fog across the mid-state this morning. This afternoon, some decent sunshine back in the 40s, 30s and 20s overnight tonight. Tomorrow we'll stay in the 30s with a gusty wind between about 20 and 30 miles per hour. Friday night will fall down into the teens. We're going to start our winter storm Friday night late, but really into Saturday morning with widespread snow, then eventually changing over to a lot of sleet and freezing rain Saturday afternoon and through the evening, with treacherous travel expected across the mid-state at least through Sunday.
You know what? You guys need to keep this number because you might walk out, slip, hurt your back, and you're going to go, uh-oh, what do I do? The Wellness Institute of Nashville, that's what you do. Painisbad.com or call 615-246-5009. New Year's here, 2026. Guess what? Great special for you. $47% off. So 47% off non-surgical decompression for the new year. Okay? And they've got a new machine that's incredible. It's the Hydrowave machine. They're the only ones in Tennessee to have it. The only office that has it. Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley can take care of you. As they talk about, this thing is so incredible. It's going to change your world, right? You want to get yourself up and moving again. You got issues with your sciatic. You got issues with your, bulging disc, slip disc, herniated disc. This is going to help you get moving and feeling better than you have in a long time. So take advantage of what they've got going on. Bring an MRI if you have to. Otherwise, get over there to see them. They're going to take care of everything for you. And check out the new Hydrowave machine. Watch what it can do for you. It is amazing. The Wellness Institute of Nashville, I trust them, and so should you. 615-246-5009. 615-246-5009. Check them out online, painisbad.com. Talk about the monks coming up. History made the Oscars. I'm not nominated again.
Oh!
Impress me.
First-time Oscar nominees include One Battle After Another's Tiana Taylor in the Best Supporting Actress category.
We brought this with us, Mahone.
And Delroy Lindo in the Best Supporting Actor category for his performance in Sinners.
You want to get physical? Like an 8?
Timothée Chalamet, meanwhile, has become the youngest person since Marlon Brando to be nominated 3 times for lead actor. Ruth Carter is up in the costume design category. It's her 5th nomination, making her the most nominated black woman ever.
And remember, Sinners got 16 nominations. Chad got none. We're going to break down some of these movies that I didn't see based on their trailers later, because that's all I really need to see in any of those. And then tomorrow, we're going to break down the Razzies. Those are probably the movies that most of us have seen. Meanwhile,
now it's time for the Weather Wizards Snowpocalypse 2026 update.
Tell us about the Snow King.
All right, brothers Chad and brother Bilal, we have some new information to tell you about the potential winter storm headed this way. The National Weather Service Nashville has now put everyone in Middle Tennessee under a winter storm warning. This means it's going to happen. Now, in addition to that, some parts of Middle Tennessee, the extreme southern and southwestern portions of Middle Tennessee are under a ice storm warning. Ice storm. They're talking about total snow and sleet accumulations between 1 and 2 inches, ice accumulations between 1/4 inch and a 1/2 inch, possibly higher in some areas. We're talking about Lawrence, Lewis, Perry, and Wayne counties. This starts midnight Friday and lasts until 6 o'clock Sunday.
oh, man, this is going to be so cold.
Yes.
And then Monday, it's going to be freezing Sunday into Monday.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's when you better tell you. I bet you they cancel vast majority of schools on Monday, as they should.
Oh, absolutely.
And tell your boss, hey, look, I'm going to have to work from home.
Yeah, we're talking about 5 degrees Monday morning.
That is.
So this stuff that falls, it's not going anywhere.
No, it's not. It's here. And it's going to be, you know what it is? It's the ice. Again, the snow is bad.
Sure.
But the ice is so awful because you don't know where it's at. It's dangerous. And this is the stuff that causes that hell when you see the 100-car pileup or people die. That's what it is.
Well, get this. As far as the winter storm warning goes, what they're really worried about is total snow and sleet accumulations. Now, this is broad, but total snow and sleet accumulations here in Middle Tennessee between 2 and 8 inches, and then ice accumulations up to 1/4 inch. That's for all of Middle Tennessee. So we could see 8 inches of snow and then 1/4 inch of ice on top of it.
Good God.
And that is starting Friday night until 6 o'clock in the evening Sunday.
You know, and what about the, do we have any news on, because I know like today Dallas is, and several other across the country are starting to, like DFW and stuff, to already cancel and refund people and try to get them elsewhere, anticipating what is going to be hell at the airport. Do we know anything about B&A?
I haven't heard anything about B&A. I'll have to check into that, man.
All right, we're going to have to get Bell over there in 5 minutes, figure out what they're going to do.
Yeah. And he still has to run the board.
He has to run the board. So we have they say they're prepping for it. That's all I've got. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
My assumption is that there is going to be, even if we can get some stuff out, remember, we're, a lot of people getting on and off, connecting flights, that stuff. Yeah, I would expect if you think you're traveling this weekend, I would probably think, there's going to be a good chance we might not get out of here.
Well, and one thing that officials are stressing right now, too, and I think a lot of times we don't think about it, but they're really they're telling everybody to, if you absolutely don't have to get out, don't get out. Because one of the things that happens during these storms is you've got firefighters and paramedics who are still going to have to go to heart attack calls.
Oh, yeah.
Medical emergencies, they're going to have to go to those calls. And the more people on the road, it's just longer it's going to take for them to get to where they need to be and get people the help they need, life-saving help.
Yeah, because and you know what, the heart attacks, the stuff like that, because every year you see it, right? There was something on yesterday. I'll see if I can find it about. Is it safe to shovel in the snow?
It is not.
Yeah, it is not. Don't do it. Pay the kid down the street to risk his life, not you.
Yeah.
Because that person's much better health than you.
A lot of heart attacks shoveling snow. You don't think about it because you think it's just snow. Well, it's actually water, and it's heavy.
It's heavy. And the cold and what it does to your chest and all, what's it do to your blood vessels, your vessels. One of the other things they said, because of this, super low in the blood banks across the country. They've had to cancel so many of them over the last couple of weeks because of the weather that they're very short on blood.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of heart attacks vacuuming, too, which is why I never do that.
That's good. You know what? I understand that. That's why I also don't do it. My Roomba, on the other hand, is
defective.
Yeah, those things. I've never had one that's ever worked. They're hilarious. And after the cat, let's be real, after the cat stops riding it, you're like, I don't really care about this thing. Because it is funny when the cat's on one. He's like, I think I'm going to ride around on this for a bit. Why does it only go to the wall and clean one area? One area of the house as clean as can be.
Because that's all it's got room for in the little collection.
At CES, they had a new one that climbs stairs now.
That's freaky.
Yeah, I don't know if I need that.
Does it vacuum the stairs as it's climbing them?
Yeah, it does. It does this. It has like a smaller vacuum on the back, so when it goes up, it goes, and then it goes. It's really interesting. I don't know. Again, I don't know how lazy you have to be.
All. Robots are going to kill us all.
They're coming. Well, if the winter does it. So you guys are hearing it from Ken. We're going to be on it. We're going to be here too. We've already worked out what's going to happen. This weekend if it's going to get really bad. But it sounds like the thing that we're facing is that deep, that cold snap, as they would call it. Lucky for me and my powers, I can fix it. But I'm choosing not to because I kind of like the cold. I'm excited about it. And Bell's already promised he's going outside in his underwear. You got to do that, dude.
I do that all the time. Usually it's 3 a.m. and I want a bottle of tea. Just walk out in my underwear and grab one out of the refrigerator that's on the porch.
Well, now your refrigerator down the porch is going to be your refrigerator.
Yes, that's true.
It's going to be crazy. I'm excited though because we're not used to it. I mean, yeah, out here you're used to some snow and some cold, but it's the vast majority of we're really from the Great Lakes all the way down. Everybody's is in the same. Obviously, some other people in worse positions. I was reading today, was it minus 18 in Green Bay? Wow. That's pretty cold.
That's
Can you imagine
disgusting.
them having to play in that?
That is disgusting. That's not a good place.
I mean, the Packers are used to playing in the cold, but
yeah, there comes a point in time where like this isn't as fun as I thought it was going to be.
I don't know if I might be able to skip this week's check.
I was expecting more of this. So now here's the thing. Do you have a battery? See, for us, do you have a battery bank?
Got to get a battery bank.
Got to get battery banks and charge them up.
Charge it up, man. Have those phones charged, all those devices charged up.
Yeah, because if you don't and there's a power outage and your stuff doesn't work, you'll be forced to talk to your family, which we know you don't want to do any of that. Nobody ever does. So get yourself a battery bank. We've got several of them, but I don't foresee, because I was reading yesterday, I think we're okay. I think our grid is going to be okay. The ice will give us some trouble. And the other thing, and we talk about this too, we got to check and see where there's going to be some warming stations, right?
Yes.
Out there, because that's important. The cold, 7 to 10 times more likely to kill you than the heat. It is evil, and it's quick. And that little lady down the street, that little guy down the street that you worry about, you stop in and ask them how they're doing, if they need anything, just to check on them. It's scary.
And the shelters are going to be full when it comes to the homeless, too. They're going to be filled to the brim.
Yeah. Because my guy here the other day, he was out. So the roundabout, I sent you guys pictures. There was an ice, not actual ice, but ice. Protest out there.
Oh, yeah.
And my guy that's out there all the time, Jimmy Crackcorn, that's what I call him, because he looks like that. He's got like a straw hat and stuff and his little beard. And he wasn't moving for the ice people. He wasn't. He wasn't. He was out there just because he's sleeping on the roundabout right now, but they need to get him into a shelter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. So it's my wife is really worried. She's got like little blessing bags that her and Charlie will go give to some of the people we see down the street.
Oh, that's cool.
She, because Charlie will see one. She goes, Mom, Mom, Mom. And she goes out and it's got all kinds of stuff in it. But she's like making sure that she goes around and she sees him. You got a place? You got to get to a place because it is going to be nasty.
And you're sweetheart.
Yeah. Ooh, kids, get ready for it. Speaking of getting ready for it, the monks, where are they today? They're walking through the teeth of this thing. They are. But because they're like avatars, apparently they're doing okay.
Are they? You sure they're not holed up in a hotel room waiting for it to pass?
No, they're walking. I know where they're going. In fact, I've got that information right now. We're going to talk about it straight ahead. Chad Ben Show, Super Talk 997. A week from today, my buddies at Bulwark Capital doing something awesome, which is their live webinar. It is called the New Year Reset. They're going to talk about AI. Is there a bubble? Could it pop? What would happen? How is it going to affect your retirement? But on top of that, they're going to talk about what it is that they do, why they feel like this market is completely overbought, opportunities of value investing that are global in other markets across the globe, and show you what they're all about. Risk management, lower risk, lower cost, give you the most upside potential. It's free. It is 5:30 next week. It's the 29th. All you have to do is go to knowyourriskpodcast.com and sign up today. That's knowyourriskpodcast.com. Top of that, you can get your free portfolio review from my friends at Bulwark Capital as well. They'll go through your portfolio, talk about what's going on. You'll learn a lot. Worst case scenario is you part as friends, as my buddy Zach likes to say, but you'll learn something out of it. So try it. Sign up next week. It is a week from today. It is the New Year Reset for my friends at Bulwark Capital. It is happening on the 29th, 5:30. Takes about 30 to 45 minutes. Webinar, simple and easy to do for my friends at Bulwark Capital. Investment advisory service offered through Check Financial LLC and SEC registered investment advisor. Investment involved risk not guarantee. Past performance not guarantee. Future results. Check 2605.
All right, we knew this was coming. National Weather Service has now put everyone in Middle Tennessee under a winter storm warning. Some of us in far south and southwestern Middle Tennessee are also under a ice storm warning. We're going to tell you what all that means coming up at 1 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
You know, it's good to have good stories. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of hate, a lot of anger out there. We need some good stories, right? Our buddies, the monks, we're going to keep an eye on them, see where they are on a daily basis. It's time for a little monk walk.
As quickly as you can, snatch the pebble from my hand. When you can take the pebble from my hand, it will be time for you to leave.
Now it's time for your daily Monk March update.
Time for you to leave.
So, today, our good friends left, is it Siler City in North Carolina?
Sounds good enough to me.
They're heading towards Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh.
Siler City was close to Mayberry.
What was it? Well, there they go. They probably stopped by and waved. You know, Andy, there they come. Look at these fellas. They left about 6:30 this morning, and they are thanking everybody. The amount of people that are coming out to these things. They filled a football, like a high school football stadium last night of people to come out and hear the guy speak about peace and why they're doing this. And it's awesome. The little dog is behind them, and he's on the trek, and he's fine. The dog of peace.
Oh, I got a little dog.
Any mention of Greenland?
No mention of Greenland. None.
What about Taiwan?
But they are...
Any comments on Maduro?
No, not yet. They're waiting. But they can't wait to be deported, they said, when they get to D.C.
They said they've seen enough.
They've seen enough. They can't wait. Already, Kash Patel and DHS and ICE are ready to go there and pepper spray them and then take them away.
Yeah, the guys are going to show up at the FBI headquarters, and Cash is going to put out a tweet that says, "We got him.
We got him. We got him. We got him." So, but they're having a good time. People are showing up and showing out. But they were asked, because they've got a physician assistant that is following them everywhere, how they're doing body-wise.
You can tell that it definitely taking a toll on the feet, not only the feet, but, all the joints, from their ankles to their knees to their hips.
One of the guys put some shoes on, but most of them are the three that were not wearing shoes. For the most part, they're still not wearing shoes, but they're expecting that to change because it is about to they're going to get a cold snap as well. So it is, and they're staying last night they stayed at, it's been really interesting, because you think, right, this thing that everybody has, they think the South, it's the Bible Belt, right, and all this kind of stuff, and that, the amount of people, though, that are showing up, the outpouring of the kindness to the people and the donations and the giving, I think they're surprised by it, and it gives them hope. And the reason they say they're doing this is because it goes all the way apparently back to Buddha, but they're doing this to say that, look, there needs to be a change, and it needs to be about peace, and we need to come together. We need to be, we shouldn't be at each other's throats like this. And what's up with Greenland? Oh, my goodness me. Trump's going to be like, are you one of you guys the avatars? Have you seen that movie? Anybody here do the thing?
Any of you an airbender?
I've seen it. Which one of you can do all of the stuff? That's pretty cool. Does any of you know Kung Fu?
Teach me.
Who's the pebble snatcher?
Oh, goodness me. But so cool to watch, though. Just the amount of people that show up. And I'm like, look at that. Look at that, Everybody thinks everybody here is, you would never accept people like, no, they're super excited just to get a glimpse of what's going on. But it does look like a Tour de France because they've got like 3 vans. There's police escorts. So
any of these guys bald?
All of them are.
They are?
They're wearing the whole outfits, man. I mean, they look the part. There's no doubt about that. All right, coming up. Next hour, our buddy from USS, United Structural System, going to join the show. We're going to talk about winterproofing for what's coming, because it's coming. It's going to be nasty. We're going to have your latest on the weather, the snow, all of it. A bunch of other good stuff on the way. Chad Ben Show, Super Talk 99.7.
1 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. And the National Weather Service now issuing a winter storm warning for all of Middle Tennessee and southern Kentucky. And then far south and southwest Middle Tennessee. On top of that, you have an ice storm warning. Channel 4's Stefano DiPietro says it's going to start late Friday night, going to stretch through the entire weekend. Things will really pick up on Saturday.
We have widespread snow to start off the day. It might be a little mixing far to the south, but moderate to heavier snowfall early in the day. Then that surge of warmer air comes in and starts that changeover. Mostly happens south of Interstate 40 to start off the afternoon. The farther north we live, the more we'll hang on to that snow.
Yeah, so as part of this winter storm warning, National Weather Service says total snow and sleet accumulations will reach between 2 and 8 inches, ice accumulations up to 1/4 inch. TDOT's getting ready. Spokesperson Aaron Ziegler telling Channel 4 about what drivers need to know.
Biggest message I can really stress to people of Middle Tennessee right now is stay home. This is going to be a significant weather event. We're going to treat it as such, and that means clearing our interstates first, then our secondary routes.
Yeah, TDOT says it's beefing up its staff for the weather event so they can respond to accidents. The head of the Tennessee Highway Patrol defending his agency yesterday before a panel of state lawmakers amid reports of wrongful DUI arrests. TBI has released data showing there have been at least 2,500, not necessarily all from the Highway Patrol, but 2,500 Tennesseans arrested for DUI whose toxicology test came back later negative for drugs or alcohol. This is part of a Q&A with the Highway Patrol Colonel Matt Perry and Channel 4's Jeremy Finley after yesterday's hearing, where the colonel says the field sobriety tests are indicating those drivers are intoxicated.
But ultimately, if a drug test or a alcohol test comes back negative, then the court system throws the case out or dismisses or pleads it to a lesser charge, then the system works.
The problem is that people's lives are being ruined in the process.
I hear that, and I don't want anybody's life to be ruined because we did something wrong.
Since this data has come out, what have you done as an agency to address this issue?
I mean, we're looking at our training. We are looking at these cases, and we're coming up with a system to make sure that we are properly, reviewing every one.
Now, Perry maintains his troopers acted appropriately. A key measure of inflation out today. ABC's Jim Ryan says its effect on the economy and the stock market.
The Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index for October and November was delayed by last year's government shutdown, so it may not be weighted as heavily in the Federal Reserve's monetary policies as it would have been otherwise. The index for September showed inflation rising at 2.8% year over year and an almost identical increase in the following 2 months. Tariffs have started to push up prices, but a cooling housing market has held down overall inflation.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's nasty, cold, chilly, kind of day that make you wear socks outside instead of just going in your flip-flops. And it's going to get worse. You know it, kids. It is. But we've got you covered from top to bottom, bottom to top. If you haven't heard, snow's a-coming.
And for the Weather Wizards Snowpocalypse 2026 update.
Tell us about the Snow King. Yeah.
All right, the National Weather Service has finally, and we expected this, but they have now issued the winter storm warning for all of Middle Tennessee, southern Kentucky. Now, for our friends and neighbors in far southern and southwest Middle Tennessee, on top of the winter storm warning, you are under an ice storm warning. So what they're looking at is heavy mixed precipitation, total snow and sleet accumulations between 2 and 8 inches, and then ice accumulations up to 1/4 inch. And it's going to start Friday night, and it's not going to let up until about 6 o'clock Sunday evening, according to what the National Weather Service is looking at right now. Here's the impact. They say to expect power outages and tree damage due to the ice. And travel, you've already got officials telling you to prepare so you do not have to get out and drive anywhere. They want those roads as clear as possible. A lot of that has to do with first responders who are going to need. People are still going to get sick and have heart attacks and things like that. There's going to be medical emergencies. First responders are going to need as much room as possible to get to where they need to go in those cases. So they say if you must travel, keep an extra flashlight, food, and water in your vehicle in case of an emergency.
God, if you're going to travel, think about it. They're telling you, hey, there's a good chance you may get stuck somewhere. So make sure you got snacks, some blankets. So, or don't travel.
Yeah, if you don't have to go out, just stay home. Stay home.
This is every stay-home person's dream.
Yes, it is.
Is it not? This is every person out there who said, oh, I would love to do that. And then it comes time to do that, and you're like, I don't want to do that. This is your dream. Nobody's going to say, they're going to be like, I absolutely agree with you. Don't do it. Don't.
And if somebody calls and says, yeah, I want to come over and hang out with you, you just go, man, there's too much snow piled against the door. I can't get it open.
Yeah, I care about you too much. I do not want
you out in this weather.
Yeah, there's just too much. We got to protect ourselves. And the same thing goes out there for as you talked about the emergency services and everything.
Yeah.
Also, the people that are going to be out there dealing with the power outages.
Yes.
That's a big deal, too, because they're going to be out there. They know they've got a big few days ahead of us themselves.
They're not looking forward to it.
No. Well, they're probably looking forward to the overtime and whatnot, but still.
Yeah, they will get that.
And then our beloved mail carriers.
Yes, sir.
You guys are going to be delivering because it says right there, sleet, snow, everything. You're going to be out there.
Tornadoes, tsunami, earthquake.
You're going to show up to a house that's not even there. You're just going to put it right in the mailbox and go.
Fat wiener dogs.
Fat wiener dogs. All of those things. You guys do not stop. So be prepared for that, kids. All right? They're going to be out there. But outside of that, everybody else stay home.
Yeah. There's no need.
Unless you're my DoorDash driver.
Yeah, that's the thing I was thinking about. Have you guys gotten extra food just in case?
I got a little bit.
From what I understand, I don't know if this is true, and maybe some of our listeners could tell us. I don't know if DoorDash runs in inclement weather.
And damn well better, because I'm ordering.
And here's the thing: the last time I remember I ordered food, to be delivered to my home, it never came because they were just
swamped.
It was just too bad.
Yeah,
they ate it. Didn't want to drop it off.
Johnny B and I ordered a pizza. We were staying at one of these hotels over here across the way. We ordered a pizza. It came like 4 or 5 hours later.
Good God. Well, yeah. So I don't know if you guys are DoorDash drivers, Uber Food, Uber Eats, whatever.
It's a good question.
Let us know if you guys are going to be running, because I bet if you are running, I bet if you're one of the only ones, the money's going to be delicious.
Yeah, hit us on the text line and let us know. 615-737-9986.
And if you had to sign a waiver in case you're in a bad crash in inclement weather.
Oh, where they said, look, you've chosen to work this day.
Right. I would think they would have you sign something like that.
Well, I'm sure with Uber,
in this day and age,
yeah, with Uber Eats and everything, I'm sure that there's a portion of that you already sign away when they do that stuff. But if it's other things, like other companies that have you deliver on normal days, like a Domino's or any of those, they may have some sort of, we're not letting you go.
Yeah,
it's impossible.
Olive Garden delivers now.
Do they?
Yep.
Oh, unlimited. Did they have a little truck with just unlimited breadsticks? Or you just reach in and grab whatever you want?
Yeah, do they have to keep going back and forth if you want as much as you want?
What if I have unlimited pasta?
I guess they got to keep coming back.
They got to keep coming back.
I got my card, the unlimited pasta.
Hey, I ate all my salad. Bring me some more.
Much breadsticks too. We're such a glutton in this country. The thing they bring you to snack upon is a dinner elsewhere in the globe. Not us. We're like, all right, now give us some pasta.
Yeah, the National Weather Service is going as far as to say travel could be impossible. With ice, it's going to be impossible, man.
Yeah.
You can't drive on ice.
So
the only thing that you can drive on ice with are chains. And I don't think a lot of people in Tennessee have tire chains.
No, we don't. Not going to be running, says one Uber driver. We've been called the name. It's always good.
All right.
You guys are absolutely clueless about gig economy. Uber, Look, DoorDash on all your own risk. You accept. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's
all
fine.
Right.
We're clueless. I'm okay with that.
We were just asking a question.
Yeah, no doubt. So,
hey, if you don't know everything, you're stupid.
That's right. You didn't know that? Typical DoorDash platform is turned off during inclement weather. Okay. So the platform in certain situations is completely off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which that makes sense, especially if you're iced in.
For the right money, though, there could be Chad Dash. I'll pay a lot of money for a pizza.
How much? What do I owe you? $150.
That's right.
And I still want a tip.
Now, another person says I drive for Uber Eats. I'm going to be running.
Okay.
Hospitals don't close. Pharmacists, nurses.
Nope. They do not. Thank goodness.
And the restaurants. Yeah, we were considering the restaurants being closed. But, a lot of people will, I just don't know what's going to be open or closed. That's the other thing. It's a crapshoot.
Right.
So it's a crapshoot.
We're not going to know until we're in it.
So
this is all prediction here. Potential.
So, yeah, that's exact. And that's the other thing right there. Because since I've come on the air, so Chris was on the air, it was sadness because there wasn't going to be a lot of snow.
Right.
Then I kept saying, I think it's the cold that's going to come and get us.
Yeah.
And then now we're under what are we under, a freeze warning?
A winter storm warning, which means it's going to happen. And then for our friends and neighbors in southern and southwest Middle Tennessee and northern Alabama, it is not only a winter storm warning, but an ice storm warning.
It's a lot of stuff going on there. So it's going to hit us hard. Whatever it is, whatever it looks like. Because
get ready right now.
It's going to change by tomorrow. It could warm up a little bit, and all of a sudden the ice could turn to snow. We could have 6-8 inches of snow. Or it could just be a frost that rolls through here and it's cold for 2.5 days.
Yeah, if you're a meteorologist and you get this wrong, you should be fired.
Yeah, that's from Bell.
Brother
Bell. That's from Bell right there.
I'm just saying. People need accuracy.
We do. We demand accuracy. Okay? I'm telling you guys that right now. We demand accuracy. So, absolutely. So, it is a lot of people out there. One guy says, I'm guessing my dumbass manager won't close our restaurant.
Well, that's the thing, man. I mean, at what point, as a restaurant owner, do you decide, you know what, I think there's more money going out than coming in?
Well, do you tell your people, like us, right? Like when we know it's coming, if we know it's going to, now that we've got the opportunity to already broadcast from home, but if you're worried about it, stay at the hotel, little motel across the street, and you can walk across the street and do whatever you need to do. Do you do that with your staff? Say, hey, there might be a big day. I'm willing to spend a little bit of money to keep everybody around here.
Yeah.
Man,
2934 also reminds us that Waffle House is always open.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Always open. So that's it's one of the big things, right? But that's mostly for hurricanes, though, the Waffle House. I mean, the freeze doesn't, because the South, we don't get the freeze like this. They're getting snow. We talked last week, they got snow in parts of Florida on the beach.
Sally said, if you're a meteorologist and you get this wrong, you should run for Congress.
You should. You should. And you know who you could blame? Whatever side you're running on, blame the other side. It was the Republicans. It was the Democrats. It was illegal immigrants. It was the Somalis. They stopped this. Oh, goodness. It was the Buddhist. So, snow tires. Do you have snow tires? No. Why would I need snow tires?
I don't even have tires.
Yeah. What do you think? I'm highfalutin?
Highfalutin.
So that's it's going to be cold. That's all we're saying, guys. Just be smart out there. Don't be an idiot. Don't be a superhero. Get your food. Get everything you need, and
make sure all of your streaming services are updated.
And get yourself your backup chargers. They're all juiced up, so you can.
Yeah, that and batteries too.
Batteries.
Get batteries.
Right. Batteries. That's
some of you out there wishing you had a Generac right now.
Oh yeah, very much so. That's right, the Generac. Goodness me. My wife's going to be so excited now that she's hearing there's power outages. She's probably telling everybody in the building, I'll have 500 pounds of rice for everybody.
But does she have the marinara sauce to go with it?
Oh, she's got all kinds of goodies.
Right.
Like she's also got like a little, her thing is better to have and not need because she's been through it because she lived in Colorado for years. And so this is just kind of what they did.
When I lived in Colorado, I remember a snowstorm coming through in April.
Ooh, how long did you live in Colorado?
A year and 2 days.
How'd they deal with the cold? You were in Denver, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, because it's a bigger city, but they deal with it a little different because it's built for it.
But they would plow the roads almost immediately.
Yeah.
And it just made the city look like a filth hole.
Oh, it did? Because of all the muck that comes off the roads.
Gross.
Yeah.
See, one thing that was, about the snow, in the Pacific Northwest there in Boise, Idaho, where I lived, is it was always just snow. It was like powder snow. It was never like wet, icy snow.
Did you get a lot of it, though?
We'd get it every year. And
like
I mean,
no,
not really that bad. I mean, there was one year we got close to a foot of snow, but it would snow every winter, and then there would be snow on the ground sometimes until late May.
Really?
Late June, yeah, in some years. But again, it was powder, The roads would get slick after enough cars, had driven over the powder, but there were never just any ice storms that I remember. It was just snow.
I lived in Europe for all those years. London, we never really got any snow whatsoever. Never. I mean, you get it once in a great while, but it was never like snow filled, on the sidewalks. It would die before it got to. But the further north you go, you would get it. And I played in some games where there was snow. I'll tell you that. That was so weird.
When I moved to Atlanta, the week I got there, I was unpacking. I didn't have, food in the apartment or anything because I literally just moved in. So I'm like, I'm going to get out of here. And, there was a Palm up the road. I'm going to go to Palm and get a steak. And it's iced over bad, but Palm was open. And as I'm crossing the bridge to get to where the hotel with the Palm in it was, I saw the car in front of me spin out, go into the other lane, and turn the front end of this truck into powder.
Whoa.
And I just was like, okay, I'm going to turn it around nice and slow.
Oh, you didn't go to your steak?
No, I went right back home. Because that just made me realize this is dangerous.
Yeah. A lot of people are saying that about the people who think they can drive on ice and stuff. It's that black. The big problem with black ice is you don't know where the black ice is. Because you think you're going along fine, then all of a sudden.
You think you're on asphalt and suddenly you're on ice.
Yeah. That's and then nature takes over and inertia takes over, and all of a sudden you're in the hospital and other people have to come out and rescue you.
And nature will mess you up.
And it will mess you up. Coming up.
It will.
Some interesting texts about back-to-back that are hilarious about the monks, because I want to bring this up because I think it's worthy of that. And then in a little bit, bottom of the hour, our buddy from USS is going to join the program. We're going to actually find out what's the best way to weatherproof, especially during the freeze, because, man, it gets ugly. And if you forget to do one or two things, next thing you know, it's a pipe mare, as I like to call it. So you don't want a part of that. That'll be here coming up a little bit. Chad Bench Show, Super Talk 99.7. Prize Picks is awesome. They got a max discount right now. Get in on the action, kids. It's America's #1 fantasy sports app. Are you ready for this? Will Sam Darnold pass for more than 1 yard, more or less? Oh, that's pretty much a win right there. So what are you going to do now? All you got to do is pick one more, and on your way you go. Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app. It is more or less based on is what you're choosing based on players' projected stats. It's that simple. Now's your chance to also get yourself $50 in free lineups immediately into your account when you play your first $5. You know, you go out there and you lay your first $5 out there and say, all right, here's my lineup. Go on. Boom. Just for playing and downloading the app and using my code Chad. So take advantage of the max discount right now. 1 yard, more or less, Sam Darnold passing. Will he do it? I say yes. And then roll with it. You've got it going on with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Tons of other great opportunities there. So join now. Get $50 in free lineups when you use my code Chad. Download the app, Prize Picks app. Use code Chad to get that $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 line. Prize Picks, good to be right. Must be 21 in Tennessee. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
All right, we're going to tell you about the updated impact of this winter storm warning and ice storm warning going to hit Middle Tennessee this weekend. Also, Tennessee Highway Patrol Colonel Matt Perry facing some tough questions about people getting arrested for DUI. And then those cases later thrown out after blood tests showed no alcohol or drugs. That's coming up at 1:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that next hour because that is just, and his whole thing about, well, it sucks. Yeah, we don't want to ruin people's lives and have an issue for people. That just, I wasn't thrilled by that. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. So we're talking about the monks last hour. There's one person texting and he goes, basically saying that I'm a piece of crap and the show sucks and stuff. And, how dare I think that the South isn't welcoming to the monks and stuff. And then right after the next text, I don't understand why you're glamorizing Buddhism with these monks and what you're doing. Why are Christians supporting this? It just goes on and on to talk about it. If Super Talk is primarily based on conservative and Christian beliefs, why are you glamorizing the Buddhist movement and drawing attention to it as if it's a great thing? Because it is. I don't see what's wrong with it. They're walking for peace. That's what they're doing. They're not evangelizing either. All they're talking about is peace, why it's a good thing. That's it. That's it. Your belief is your belief, right? Do you think it's a slap in the face of Christianity? Do you not think that this is in opposition to Jesus? No, I think Jesus is pretty much about peace. The last I checked, I think so. It was about peace. I think it's a good thing. I think we need more of it. Nothing wrong with coming out and saying, hey, good. I mean, if it was a Jewish person walking for peace for October 7th, would you go, yeah? That's a good thing? Well, I don't know if you're aware of that. They don't believe in Jesus the way that Christians do. Just in case you're unaware of that. So, yeah, no, because it's a good story is why. Because you know what? They're putting a lot of their money where their mouth is. There's no doubt about that. They're making that walk. If this was just a regular dude, a bunch of bikers going on a walk for peace, because they're singing, so that's why I think it's a good thing.
Jesus was down with hookers and lepers, so I think he's pretty much the guy that's cool with the whole chill attitude.
Yeah, I think so. If Jim Cantori is in town, everything's going to be okay. Do you remember him from the Weather Channel? The one who got excited for, was it lightning? Thunder snow. Woo! Thunder snow! It's awesome.
Is that opposed to thunderstruck?
No, it's not. Just thunder snow. So it's going to be, it's going to be cold. I just want you guys to know that. That's why we're going to break down. Our buddies over at USS are going to break down for us all the stuff we need to know about to kind of freeze-proof your house, really is what we're looking to do. Because we want to make sure, right? Because you don't want anything nasty happening. Because the expense that every year, too, we're going to get texts come Monday or Tuesday. Man, something happened. One of my pipes burst or, I didn't turn it off and now nothing,
Giant flying monkey ripped my roof off.
Happens all the time. And you know what I was reading today, though? You guys will like this. The freeze warning that's going on in Florida. We don't have this, but they're like, also, when you're out there, remember, iguanas will fall from the trees.
Which is true, which is absolutely true. Because it gets too cold for their system to handle, so they kind of go into brumation.
Yeah.
A temporary brumation, and then they'll just fall out of the damn tree right under your head.
I know.
And some of those iguanas are pretty damn big.
Yeah, they're big. They're big. And they're going to knock some people out. So, but we've got you covered on all of this stuff. We're going to talk about how to weatherproof your casa here in a little bit with our buddies over at USS straight ahead. And it is, again, we're taking care of you kids. That's what we do. All right. A lot of that. We got Ken's News straight ahead, too. Chad Benson Show, powered by NCA, National Certified Alarms. No long-term contracts. License number 645.
$1:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and we are under a winter storm warning, most of Middle Tennessee. Then we've got 4 counties under an ice storm warning. So we're expecting heavy mixed precipitation, total snow and sleet accumulations between 2 and 8 inches, ice accumulations up to 1/4 inch in most of Middle Tennessee. But at least 4 counties in Middle Tennessee, Lawrence, Lewis, Perry, and Wayne counties. This is southwest Middle Tennessee. they could see between 1 and 2 inches of ice. This is from midnight Friday to 6 o'clock Sunday evening. The impacts, according to the Weather Service, they say expect power outages, also tree damage due to the ice. Travel, they say, could be impossible. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. As far as travel is concerned, here's Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac.
Officials say timing matters right now. Some cities are planning to start pre-treating the roads today, while others are choosing to wait until Friday because they want to make sure that the brine is not washed away by any rain. And something that they're all asking people to do is try to stay off the roads if you can. This will give their crews plenty of space to be able to treat the roads and clear them as the snow starts to fall.
Tennessee Highway Patrol Colonel Matt Perry facing tough questions from state lawmakers over DUI arrests that were later thrown out after blood tests showed no alcohol or drugs. This is part of an exchange after the hearing between Colonel Perry and Channel 4 reporter Jeremy Finley.
They're not sober driver. They might have come back with nothing from the TBI lab in their system, but that doesn't make them a sober driver.
I've interviewed these people. They were sober at the time that they were arrested. There were no drugs or alcohol in their system. And your agency is showing making the most of these arrests.
We do not want anybody arrested, charged that hasn't committed a crime. So I'll say that.
If it sounds confusing, Perry testified today that the field sobriety tests that the troopers are performing indicate the driver is intoxicated.
Now, Colonel Perry says his troopers are not pressured to make DUI arrests, despite accusations from some former troopers. He says the Tennessee Highway Patrol is revisiting training and reviewing every DUI case moving forward. And Metro Police say a man used an intoxicated tourist's phone to transfer money out of his Cash App account early yesterday morning. Investigators say the victim met 25-year-old T. Rick Thomas at a bar on Lower Broad. Thomas allegedly convinced the man to give him his phone and then sent $1,200 to another account. Officers stepped in before Thomas, they say, could get another $300 from an ATM. He's now charged with felony theft. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
All right, guys. We're getting that freeze. You feeling it coming. Our buddies over at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling are ready to help you keep you worry-free in the freezing times, including service specials right now. $49 for a multi-port furnace, $250 off Smart Auto Whole Home Water Shutoff. Why? Peace of mind in those freezing times. They've got great opportunities, too, for HVAC. 0% financing, 18 months, complimentary UV light with any new unit install or a free 5-year, and a free 5-year labor upgrade. That's a $750 value. That is awesome. 0% financing on free 50-gallon water heater with select repipe, $600 off, not applicable, and a $600. You're going to save that on a Halo filtration and softener combo. And if you've got a Busy Bee membership, oh, that's great. But if you buy one now, you can gift one for free. What? That is incredible. Take advantage of all of these amazing things, especially as we're in the freezing times. You want to make sure you're taking care of. Busy Bee's got you covered. Call them today, 615-775-7833, or visit busybeehvac.com. Busy Bee, your comfort, our mission. Cold, snowy, sleet, all the stuff happening. We're under one of those big watches now. Joining us now, buddy Eric Lloyd from USS. All right, my man, let's break it down. First and foremost, you guys are going to probably be busy in the next couple of weeks because of chaos. What should people do first to get their house winter-proofed when it comes to all of the things? Because there's a lot of stuff people probably forget.
Yeah, so thanks so much for having me on, Chad. We're just to start us off, man, we're big fans of you guys. Thank you guys for what you do, and thanks for this opportunity to speak today. But biggest thing that we're seeing in crawl spaces is all that cold air. And I'll start with crawl spaces. Crawl space basement homes is really what we're going to be talking about today. But you've got all this cold air that's just pressing up against your home, and especially in crawl space homes, they have these vents all around the perimeter in these block walls, and these vents are letting all of this extremely cold air in, and when that cold air mixes with your hot ducts or your trunk line from your AC or your furnace, it's gonna make that furnace work extra hard. So just by stopping the airflow alone, you're gonna help a ton of energy loss, and you're gonna save on that energy. So it might be a little too late for you to have us out and do a permanent solution, but some things that maybe you can get out to the store today and take care of. First thing I'll talk about is some temporary vent covers. So during winter, we cover your crawl space vents with a foam insulation to reduce that heat loss and prevent any of that cold air from circulating underneath your home. It's really simple to just swing by Home Depot or Lowe's in the short term to maybe fix something with some zip ties on the outside. You can cut some foam board up. They have that probably still in stock in those stores where you can just stop all that airflow in. Long-term solution is going to be where we would come in and seal that up permanently from the inside. You keep your same aesthetic on the outside so you don't look at pink foam board from the outside. Another thing that you can do in this short term is insulate those exposed pipes that you may have, the water pipes that are coming into your home. Underneath that crawl space, if you've got a lot of cold air flowing through there, wrap any of those exposed crawl space pipes with some pipe insulation to prevent any freezing and potential bursting. Pay extra attention to areas where pipes are near exterior walls. And anytime you see pipes coming in from the exterior, you can actually seal those air leaks and gaps with a can of spray foam. Not pretty. It doesn't have to be pretty to be sealed, but you can use a spray foam that it comes in a can these days. You can spray that on there. You don't have to go too crazy with it because it'll make it nice and airtight. This is going to reduce that heat loss and drafts any chance of frozen pipes. And then the crawl space. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Were you
I'm going to ask you. So, talking to Eric Lloyd from United Structural Systems, as he's trying to show quick fixes for the big freeze coming. You know, the pipes. Like we always hear about what ends up happening, especially, and I'm sure you guys get called out this. People don't do the right thing with their pipes, and they'll leave a little bit of drip in the water. They do something like that. Next thing you know, their pipes burst. Stuff happens, and I'm sure that's a nightmare for a lot of people. Who it's a simple thing that you can do, and people forget it, and then for you guys have to come out and clean it up.
Yeah, that's true. A little drip won't hurt. It might run your water bill up a little bit, but it could very well potentially save you from having to have a burst pipe and have a whole nother mess on your hands. But yeah, just insulating those pipes as best you can, especially where they come in from the exterior, is going to be a huge help. Another place that water or that cold air comes in is through that crawl space door. If your home was like mine, if your crawl space home is like mine, and you had one of those just standard black aluminum doors, that's not really airtight. There's a lot of cold air that can go into that door, and so sealing off that crawl space door, making sure that it's properly sealed from drafts, it's going to also prevent any moisture intrusion. And a wet crawl space can actually lead to a cold crawl space. So inspect for leaks and water damage. You're going to look for damp spots, mold growth, standing water in your crawl space. And this is something that we do before the cold weather hits. And it's something that's helpful after the cold weather's gone. You got all this moisture coming in. Snow melt and condensation can cause some major winter damage. So it may be necessary after the fact, and I hope this doesn't happen to you, but it may be necessary after the fact to install an interior drain system to get any water out that may be stacking into your crawl space, and installing or maintaining a heavy-duty vapor barrier. And we use a very thick liner in our encapsulations to go cover the entire crawl space soil area. And if you got a basement, if you see water in that basement, a dry basement and a dry crawl space is going to be a warmer space. So ensure that vapor barrier is going to extend up your entire foundation walls. When we go in the crawl space, we wrap those columns. So sealing up the walls with a perimeter with that encapsulation material is going to be great.
Somebody just asked us something. They said for dripping faucet, ask really quick, dripping on the outside faucet, inside faucet, what's the best way to try to make sure that those pipes don't freeze up and, become that nightmare that we all talk about?
That exterior faucet, yeah, you're gonna find some of those faucet covers for the exterior. They're really simple to install. You just put a little rubber tie off on it and cinch it up. That'll help a lot. Make sure that is nice and tight up against the brick on your exterior. Interior water lines are the only things you really need to run. I wouldn't run your exterior water. That's just going to turn into an icicle and be bad for water getting into your crawl space. So, but yeah. One thing I was going to mention are those condensation pumps that if you have a furnace that is, or an AC, you have your furnace that sits in your crawl space or basement, make sure you check those condensation pumps, because those HVAC condensation pumps in your crawl space, if it's full and it's not functioning right, it can lead to a mess down there as well. Let's see. Another thing too is this when we seal up the crawl space, which is what we do, 12 months out of the year, we don't want to leave just the vapor barrier and the sealed up vents and the new door by itself. We always recommend installing a dehumidification system, a dehumidifier that comes in multiple sizes that we have, and what that does is it reduces those that energy loss by keeping your humidity and the moisture that can be trapped in your crawl space at a very constant and healthy level year round.
Talking to Eric Lloyd from United Structural Systems. He's trying to help you guys weatherproof your house. If you give people like one advice, would be the thing that you're going to see that is, when you guys go out and there's going to be issues, what's the one thing that people can do right now that is kind of universal looking, if they only could do one thing to protect their home, what would it be?
If you're going to do one thing, I would say close those vents, those crawl space vents that you have, or if you notice any air gaps in your windows, like egress windows in basements, find some weather stripping and seal that up. Or if you can temporarily close those vents, make sure that cold air is staying outside of your home instead of coming in there.
Right on, man. Appreciate you coming on. And hopefully we know you're going to be busy, so be safe out there and take it slow. Eric Lloyd, USS. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you guys for having me.
So there you go. And several people chimed in about the windows. Ask about the windows. Ask about the windows. I'm like, yeah, I get that. That's the windows. It's just... Look, it's going to happen. People's pipes are going to freeze. Things are going to happen. And, being just prepared as much as you can, because we're not used to it like other places where they just it's just another day in the cold. Just another day in the cold. Any news, Ken? Anything changed in the freeze?
Nope. Same. Between 2 and 8 inches of snow, up to 2 inches of ice in some places.
Oh, man. It's going to be chilly out there. It's going to be chilly. Tell you what, though, I'm excited about it because I have a feeling I'm going to be the only. The power outage. You already talked about power outage, Ken. You're like, oh, now we're getting news that there's going to be some power outages.
Yeah, expect them. Expect them.
Is it because of the grid or is it because of falling things?
Falling tree limbs onto power lines.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking, was it the grid? Or is our grid going to, is it going to fail? This is a good test to see what our grid can handle. In this trying time of the big, what do you call it? The big freeze, 2026. It's because of what
we had that big test a couple years ago.
We did. And apparently there have been some enhancements that TVA says they have made that hopefully is never necessary again. Rolling blackouts to make sure that the grid is not completely overwhelmed.
And we don't have all the data centers here yet, so that's always a good thing, too. Because they'd suck up all the energy.
Yeah, that could be a game changer.
Well, it is for a lot of people, man. The price of energy is rising in places where they're seeing their bills triple in some areas because of the data center. And that's going to be, now that'll probably come down as they spread out, but that is going to be a game changer. You're right about that. There's no doubt. It's absolutely going to be a game changer in the coming years. And so be on the lookout. If the data center's coming, read the fine print, guys. Read the fine print. Energy, the battle of energy is here. There's no doubt about that. Ooh. Do you remember when Ted Cruz went to wherever, Cabo or wherever the hell he went, they snapped a picture of him yesterday flying to California as they're getting ready for their giant freeze.
He's just, going over there to.
Well, he says he'll be back in time for the freeze. Do we believe him?
Just doing nuisance podcast.
Really, Ted? Like you couldn't have. There's something that big out there. You have to go every year. My daughters, they're in their 30s, but they're going on spring break. Really, I don't think you need to go with them. Big freeze is coming. All right. Okay. So it's good having you, Eric. It's going to be 2 inches of ice. Is that a record? I don't know what a record is. What's the record for snow here?
I don't know.
I don't know either. What do you think it is? Let's find out. If only there was a machine we could find out.
If only.
Snowfall Nashville was 17.3 inches. March 16th through the 18th, 1892. That's pretty good. You had some others. You had several that were in and around 10 inches or so. February 6th through the 9th, 1979, about 10 inches plus. And there's been several large snow days rather than 3 days. But the last one was in January of 2016. Do you remember that one? I wasn't here for that, obviously. Were you here for that?
2016?
Mm-hmm. Or were you out there,
No, I've lived here since 2008.
So you would have remembered that one. It was massive snowfall, 7 inches.
I was probably just inside.
I was here in 2016 for that because I remember that morning, leading up to it, it wasn't supposed to be that big of a deal. But then halfway through the morning show, I was on the morning show at the time, there's already 4 inches of snow falling, and it's coming down heavy. It caught a lot of people by surprise.
I was here for the 2010 flood, but my house was up on a hill. So every time I would step outside, I'd be like, this ain't that bad. What are they talking about?
As people floated by you.
Yeah. So my neighbor across the street, his house was sitting in basically a bowl. So it was up to his windows.
Oh, God, that's got to be awful. It's got to be awful. And we're talking about this, and again, it's going to be nasty, and don't drive if you don't have to, all the kind of things that you shouldn't do. But I still go back to the Russian massive ice snowstorm where they're on the 4th floor of buildings. They're just climbing out their windows and sliding down. That's a lot of snow. 7 feet in one day. Good God. The hell's wrong with you? Why would you live there? Trump's all, do we want it? What's it like there? Coming up, Oscars. They were announced today. I wasn't a part of it. Kind of sucks. I knew I wasn't going to be a part of it because I didn't make a movie this year. Or any year, actually. Do you have to make one to be in it?
Yet.
Yet. It's coming soon, though. Chad Benson, Super Talk 997. Let me tell you something. Relief Factor is amazing, right? One of the things I get a lot of listeners will send me stuff, and Sandra Story, not her Sandra text every day. Maybe it is her. I don't know. But I don't think it is. She's been telling about Relief Factor for years, and she finally went and she tried it. She got the 3-week quick start, and her life changed. And the reason is simple. Her back was in pain, muscles, everything. She was having serious issues. She started taking Relief Factor, and it changed everything. It is amazing. It focuses on the inflammation, right? The pathways where there is inflammation. And it can help you in so many ways. It's helped me. I'm working out more and more. My wife's working out more and more. And I've noticed since she started taking it several months ago, her energy level's up. She's got more go to it. which is something she said she struggled with because she has perimenopause and it was kicking her butt. She feels so much better. If you've got issues, your muscles, you're sore a lot, right? Especially if you've worked out a little bit more, your back, your neck, your knees, as far as the inflammation of the joints, this is what it's about. It'll help you. It's natural. You can take it every single day. 3-week quick start, $19.95. I want you to try it now. Go to relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com, or call 1-800-4RELIEF, 1-800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor and tell them Chad sent you.
All right, we're going to tell you the latest on the approaching winter storm and ice storm. Also, Tennessee Highway Patrol Colonel Matt Perry. Hear him defend his state troopers over DUI arrests getting tossed out after blood tests show no alcohol or drugs. That and more coming up at 2 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
For a performance by an actor in a leading role, the nominees are Timothy Chalamet and Marty Supreme.
Didn't see it.
Leonardo DiCaprio in One Battle After Another.
Didn't see it.
Good.
Ethan Hawke in Blue Moon.
Didn't see it.
Didn't see it.
Michael B. Jordan in Sinner.
I will see it tonight.
And Wagner Mora in The Secret Agent.
Don't even know what that is.
I've only seen one of those movies.
And seen any of them either.
No.
So don't feel bad.
I'll watch Sinners. tonight.
How long is it?
That's like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
That's not bad.
No.
That's the only one of interest to me, too.
Yeah, it's got vampires in it. I'm
gotta-
going to start doing it. I'm going to do a channel that is just for regular people movies. Okay? Just for regular people. I don't need to know that, Sung-Dong Kim is one of the greatest Korean directors of all time. He's an auteur. He's blah. His movie is about blah. I don't care. It's boring, okay?
So you're creating the George Lucas channel.
Better than that, Lucas. By the way, did you see the He-Man? Did you see the He-Man came out today, the trailer?
No.
For He-Man.
Who's playing him?
Guy I've never seen before.
Oh, okay.
So
Probably good to go with an unknown on that one.
So, but he lives here on Earth because his mom got him out of there because of all the stuff, and then he apparently goes back to put together the Wonder Twins, whatever He-Man does.
Are you talking about Guardians of the Galaxy?
I don't know. He goes back with a group of people. So I saw Skeletor. That's right? Skeletor.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he was in it.
He was the one with the purple head, right?
Yeah, he's got skeleton face.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's purple.
And he's got the purple outfit on.
He's got no lips, but he can still talk.
Of course I can. I'm Skeletor. Is that what he sounds like? It sounds like something
I think that is it, yes.
So I've never been a fan of movies, vampire movies or show. Sorry, Twilight. Oh, I saw Twilight. God, that one day I sat at home. Didn't feel very good. I'm like, Twilight. I watched the first Twilight. I didn't know it was on. I was just laying there and I was like watching it. And I'm like, well, that was interesting. I sat there for the next 12 hours and watched every Twilight movie till the end.
See, that's how I got hooked on The Walking Dead.
Oh, was it?
I was home one morning. My daughter and wife had been watching it. They loved it. So I got up early one morning and thought, okay, I'll try it out.
And you got
the
hooked.
minute Rick Grimes had to kill the little girl trying to eat him, that's whenever I said, whoa. And I was hooked from then on.
Well, you got to make
technically,
serious.
she was already dead.
Yeah, she was already dead, yeah.
But you got to make serious decisions, man.
Right.
You got to make snap, like that movie World War Z, when the IDF soldier, that chick got bit or whatever, and he lopped off her arm to save her so that stuff didn't travel up. You got to make serious, quick snap
What's
decisions.
supposed to happen with Herschel and his foot?
Who's Herschel?
Herschel was the guy in second season.
Of
Who
what?
was the father of Maggie.
Is The Walking Dead?
Yes.
Never seen one
Walking Dead,
episode.
yeah, Herschel.
Never seen an episode.
You're weird.
You know what? Whatever.
You're freaky weird.
I know.
It got real stupid.
Did it?
Yeah.
Now they're on like...
Well, because they made Rick and Michonne a thing, and that's where they lost me.
You know what I like? Good one. Have you seen From? Watch From. That's great, dude. That's great.
From.
Yeah,
Okay.
these people get stuck in a town that's like the 1950s, and you can never leave the town. You just drive in circles, always end up at the town. You have to be in by midnight. Oh, it's creepy. You would like it.
That sounds cool.
Very mysterious. Woo-hoo!
That's like that Twilight Zone where a couple got drunk one night, and apparently they were kidnapped by aliens, and they were put in a little playhouse.
That happens sometimes. Go tell that to one of your friends. Dude, I woke up and I was in a playhouse, okay? All right, coming up, hour number 3 of the program. Vance is in Minneapolis. I'm sure he's calming tensions. He's got a serious eyeliner on. He doesn't have the fun eyeliner. Today's a serious eyeliner because he wants those eyes popping. Pay attention to me. Bunch of other good stuff on the way. Chad Benson, Super Talk 9 SF.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. A winter storm going to bring significant snow, sleet, and ice to parts of Middle Tennessee. We're talking accumulations of snow, 2 to 8 inches, and sleet, and as much as a 1/4 inch of ice for most of Middle Tennessee. But up to 2 inches of ice in southwest Middle Tennessee, particularly 4 counties, Lawrence, Lewis, Perry, and Wayne counties. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Tennessee Highway Patrol Colonel Matt Perry defending his state troopers over DUI arrests, getting tossed out after blood tests showed no alcohol or drugs. Colonel Perry told state lawmakers yesterday a clean blood test doesn't automatically mean a driver was sober at the time of the arrest.
We've not had one case that, and we have our experts in our department review those. We've not had one that they said, yeah, this was somebody that probably shouldn't have been arrested. If that was the case, then we would investigate our trooper and we would hold that trooper accountable. Now, in some cases, there's training that needs to be done.
Yeah, he says based on the field sobriety tests, that's where his troopers made the decisions. Now, he says the agency is working on new training and case review procedures. In a lawsuit filed this morning, President Trump is suing J.P. Morgan Chase and its CEO Jamie Dimon for $5 billion, alleging the bank closes accounts for political and social motivations.
The lawsuit says that in February 2021, J.P. Morgan Chase notified President Trump and his businesses that several of his bank accounts would close after decades of being customers of the bank. That came in the wake of the January 6th attack on the Capitol. The president's lawsuit says the decision, quote, came about as a result of political and social motivations, and that J.P. Morgan Chase debanked the president's accounts because, quote, it believed that the political tide at the moment favored doing so. In a statement to ABC News, J.P. Morgan says the suit has no merit and they'll fight it in court. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
A lot of people are texting in, Ken. They don't believe the fine officer there and some of his reasoning for arresting folks.
Yeah, I wonder, and I want to be completely transparent here. The audio I'm using is audio that I mined from Channel 4 and from Fox 17.
Yeah.
So I don't have the entirety of the audio. But one thing that is not brought up in these stories is, breathalyzer.
Yes.
And from what we understand, law enforcement is not allowed to use breathalyzers. from what we understand, during traffic stops. And it seems to me maybe that would solve a lot of these problems.
So they're not allowed to use breathalyzers, so they use guessalyzers?
Yeah, what he is saying is that during the field sobriety tests, he's saying that these troopers did not feel like these drivers were sober during the field sobriety tests. But then come later down the road, and I'm not sure how long for each case, but then toxicology comes back and there is no alcohol and no drugs in their system, so the DUI cases are tossed. But as you heard Jeremy Finley bring up to the colonel, but that doesn't explain, why some of these people's lives have been ruined.
Oh, they have been. And he's like, well, we don't want that, but, we have our method. Well, your method's not working, bro.
Well, you got to remember, this is the same guy who allegedly defended two of his troopers arresting somebody at a traffic stop and using the words, your rights.
That's right.
Your rights matter less than you think. Or the less than nothing. Your rights matter less than nothing on Tennessee roads.
Yeah, that's not a good place to be. And again, kudos for going on and doing this. I know he had a hearing. People were asking him questions yesterday, but kudos for talking about it. But you didn't explain anything away. You made it seem worse, actually. Why can't we use breathalyzers? I'm curious about that.
Yeah, I that may be a state law.
So this guy's
and if that's the case, then troopers and law enforcement, their hands are tied.
But why would we even want that as a state law?
I don't know.
Well, they could get it thrown out. Okay, well, it's better than ruining someone's life and having something thrown out, and because the lawsuits are flying in. People are going and they're stuck in jail for days sometimes. They don't have money to get out. They have to hire lawyers. They're losing their jobs. They're losing their apartments. And then all of a sudden you look up and you're like, we're sorry about that. And then what happens? They go and get a lawyer and you have to pay out. What's the cost? Let's weigh the costs here. Because this isn't something that happens every once in a while. WSMV has been doing this investigation for a long time. Now everybody else has jumped in on it because it is so prevalent.
Yeah, Fox 17 says they've been studying it for 2 years. And then, of course, a state law was passed that required TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, then to release the number of these DUI cases that were tossed when toxicology tests come back negative for drugs and alcohol, and they exceed 2,500 cases. And that's not just the Highway Patrol, from what I understand.
I just did a Google search, and it says Tennessee Highway Patrol hasn't stopped using breathalyzers entirely, but shifted towards a no-refusal policy and prefers blood tests for better evidence detecting both alcohol and drugs.
So it's not a state law.
But because, remember what a couple of the cops who would text us said, they forget their breathalyzers or they don't use them or they're not done properly. The thing is, if you get in there, because what have we learned? It takes a long time for the tox report to get back. So while you're waiting, you go through the entire process in court. While some people wait. Remember we were talking about the rape kit, how backed up that is. So you're out there swinging in the wind, having to, put it on 5 credit cards because you hire an attorney, and you go out there and you have to fight this thing, and you're still waiting on the results. The minute again, this is
the entire situation loses the complete presumption of innocence.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, this is.
But then again, your rights mean less than nothing on Tennessee highways.
According to him, they do. Yeah. So that's good news. Retired Illinois cop, portable breathalyzers were allowed and encouraged for every officer. However, they were not admissible in court. It's definitely helped us determine sobriety on the streets. Yeah. But if you go through if you can't have the thing that will, exonerate you in court until after court is already done in some cases, so you're waiting forever. You're under the caution if you've been arrested. Now, here's a question, and I don't know this here. Did they take your license immediately?
I'm not sure.
Do they? Yeah, I wondered, did they suspend your license immediately upon an arrest? And yes, civil forfeiture, all of those things too. Because how much is it to have that car impounded if it's there for days?
Well, and then, the question is, so what is the recourse for these people? Is there not some sort of, something to help restore them? Or is it just, sorry?
In many places like Tennessee, law enforcement takes your physical license and issues a temporary permit after a DUI arrest. But the official longer suspension often happens after a conviction or if you fail to challenge an administrative suspension.
So, okay. Well, I mean, at least you can still drive. But, I mean, what does it cost if your car – so they come and they take your car, right? They move your car, they take it, it gets impounded. That's not free, by the way. They don't keep that for free.
No, they're charging you for the tow and for the impound by the day.
So next thing you know, if you're in there for 5, 6, 7 days, and we've heard stories about people being in there for days, and they get out, and they can't even afford to get their car out. And then it just rattles up and rattles up and rattles up the prices.
Now, I've heard the total cost of a DUI can be around $10,500. Like all the costs combined for someone who is charged with DUI.
Yeah. Well, the one guy who lost like his apartment, his job and stuff in his car, he said he had to go into his 401k, what little savings he had, and he had to put it on 2 or 3 credit cards just to cover the $10,000 for an attorney. And they had to go through the entire process before they even got back to blood work. We got to do better.
So it just seems like, and I don't know for sure. I have not heard whether or not once this is the case, the toxicology shows there was no drugs or alcohol. If there is some way these people can recoup their losses.
Well, they should be, right? They should, and they shouldn't, because what they have to do to recoup, they're going to have to go out and hire a lawyer, right? So he ain't working for free or she ain't working for free, mostly.
And that's just more cost.
That's more cost for you, unless they're willing to do it for a split of whatever they get. But they also recognize, even if you do, and you're not getting that money immediately, that's going to take time, filing, all this kind of stuff. It's not like you go file today, they call you tomorrow, they work out a settlement, you go on your way.
And a lot of times, nothing happens at all because of qualified immunity.
Yeah. So and I know there's not a good test for the weed and all that kind of stuff. We get that, but this has been going on for a very long time. And it's not just here. Several people have chimed in about how bad it is in Georgia. Same kind of thing. How bad it has been in Alabama and a few other places where they're just, we got to do better.
Yeah, the field sobriety test, from what I've seen, kind of like you've got to walk a straight line, but you have to step a certain way. And some people may not have good balance. It's not that they're drunk or high. They may just not have good balance.
Those things, any DUI lawyer will tell you, don't do that. Those things, those things are put there for you to fail. One person texted and he goes, dude, sober, I can't do the alphabet backwards.
I probably can't either.
And you know what? Here's the thing. Based on what he said and how we've seen all these things on the news and whatnot, even though people pass these things, they still think that they've got probable cause to just take you.
Well, and yeah, that's another issue.
So, I don't know what it's going to be. It's going to have to be something where you're going to have to end up paying. Several of you have chimed in, by the way. Some of you. Mine cost me $11,000. Mine cost you $12,000. Were you sober drivers? If there's sober drivers listening, what it cost you? How long did the whole thing take? And you're living under that, that thing just weighing on you about going to court, doing these things, taking time off of work, all of that stuff.
Qualified immunity is the biggest part of the problem. If a cop does something wrong, especially if it's egregious, he should not just be able to raise his hand and go, oh, I'm sorry, it was in the service of my job, I get qualified immunity. No, you arrested someone that wasn't breaking the law.
Yeah.
That should not be covered under qualified immunity.
No, we've got we all want to support our law enforcement. They do a hell of a job. It's a tough job. Nobody's saying that. But this is obviously a real issue that we have. And when you've got the chief out there saying, what did he say about your rights? They don't matter here on Tennessee roads?
Yeah, allegedly he said that your rights mean less than nothing on Tennessee roads. And if you don't want to cooperate, stay out of Tennessee.
That's nice. That's nice. So yeah, we've got to do better. And I think this is, this people are paying attention to this. It's not just here. I mean, I was watching a report in Memphis, same thing, issues, same thing. I mean, I just thought that one lady that I watched the other day, and it was from the officer video, whatever. He's like, I can smell alcohol. And she's like, what? No. I can smell alcohol. And you could, she was totally
You got to remember
sober.
the cops are legally allowed to lie to you.
Yes. I forgot about that too.
So he can say, I smell fentanyl in there.
Yeah.
Well, you can't really smell fentanyl, sir. Well, I smell it. So get out of the car.
I smell fentanyl. What are you, Scooby-Doo? Is there weed in there? Doink, Scoob, there's weed. Oh, Lord, just insane. It is. And then you got what's going on, what's the big thing? There's a memo out from somebody in ICE saying that all they need is a signature from somebody else in ICE, and they don't need an actual warrant from a judge to go in people's homes.
Yeah, that's a load of crap.
Yeah. So no, it's been proven that, all we need is who gets to sign it? Tim, sign this really quick. Oh my goodness.
That's another instance where you should not have qualified immunity. If you come into my house without a warrant or exigent circumstances, your job should be forfeit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's frustrating. We want our rights. We want to be able to protect the cops. They got a tough job. We're not saying that. But at the same time, we have our rights. And when you've got somebody willing to say who's running things for the popo, saying, your rights mean squadoosh on our streets, that's a scary thing. You should have been gone right there, don't you think?
Oh, my opinion, that should have ended his career.
Yeah. Yeah. Because what you're saying is, I'm going to do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it.
And there's nothing you can do about it. And if you don't like it, pound sand.
Yeah. That is, man, that's not good. All right, coming up, got a lot of stuff. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. It's going to be a little snowy. It's going to be a little cool outside. We're going to talk a bit about that, among other
Get some
things.
flurries?
McFlurry, maybe. Like a McFlurry. You know what I had the other day with the Wendy's? I had myself a Frosty.
What kind?
Chocolate.
Oh, yes.
It was
Good
delicious.
choice.
They put M&Ms in it?
No, I didn't ask for that. But you know what I always get confused is the Frosty or a malt. I don't like a malt.
Why not?
Because it's got malt in it. That's why.
I don't even know what that is.
You never had a malt?
Can we talk about this when we get back?
We could.
Okay.
Let's do that. We're having a lot of fun today, kids. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk. 99.7. Bulwark Capital, my buddies, a week from today, 5:30 our time. I'm imploring you guys, if you worry about your investments, you want to say, hey, how are we going to get there? Last year, they were up 40%, okay? Whether it's your investments or retirement, they want to talk to you. They do a free live webinar, 5:30 our time, simple and easy to join. They're going to talk about all the things they do, why they look for other, markets, not just the American market, to invest in, and what it means to do the investing they do as active investors, value investors. Lower risk, lower cost, lower volatility. It is, I implore you guys, check it out. You will not be disappointed. 5:30 next week. Sign up now at knowyourriskpodcast.com for Bulwark Capital's New Year Reset webinar happening a week from today. It is free to sign. Sign up. It's 30 to 45 minutes. Plus, you can also get a free risk review for your portfolio. They'll go through everything and talk to you about what it is that they do. They were up about 40% last year, up over 8.5% this year. So, yeah, they're good at what they do. Bulwark Capital's New Year Reset webinar next week, a week from today, 29th, 5:30 our time. KnowYourRiskPodcast.com. Sign up there for Bulwark Capital. Investment advisory service offered through Trek Financial LLC and SEC registered investment advisor. Investment involved risk, not a guarantee. Past performance, not guarantee future results. Trek 2605. Prize Picks is awesome. Let me tell you something about Prize Picks. They're amazing. Right now, they're giving you something. So if you don't know what Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, I talk about it all the time. Right now, they have an easy play for you. Okay, so you're picking players based on their projected stats. They've got a max discount already for you. Sam Darnold, will he pass for more than 1 yard this Sunday? That is a hot yes. So there you go. You're on your way. With Prize Picks, you can get payout early, even before the game's over. You can get stacks. You can do stacks. And you can also get an injury reboot as well. But right now, you've got the max discount with Sam Darnold, one yard. That's it, more or less. That's what you're choosing. Download the app today, and here's another great thing. When you do, use my code CHAD. When you do, you're going to get $50 in lineups immediately after you play your first $5 lineup. Think about that, how easy it is. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use my code CHAD to get $50 in lineups after you play that first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Must be 21 in Tennessee. Gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789.
Snow, sleet, and freezing rain on the way. Also, the Tennessee Highway Patrol defending its DUI arrest practices after cases were tossed when toxicology tests came back negative for drugs or alcohol. This story and more coming up at 2:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
So malt, before we went to break, we were rudely interrupted by the break, but the people are good people, so I just want to tell you something about the malt. Okay, so the malt. So malts and the Frosty. So the Frosty, which is delicious, okay, it's like between ice cream and a shake, and it's smooth. The malt, okay, made with malted milk power, a little thicker, grainier, right, kind of thing. So it feels like, you know what happens? You know what it is? Well, first of all, I'm not the fan of the malt taste, but just like if you like malt balls. Remember malt balls? Some people thought that was good when you were kids. They're like, hey, this is pretty good. But it is, I always feel like when I'm eating a malt, it's like you're eating, when the ice cream gets frosty, you know when it gets frosty? It's like it stays in your freezer. It almost gets like a freezer burn. That's kind of what I think it is. Where a Frosty's just freaking delicious. Yeah, malt is, thank you, Ham. Malt is nasty.
I guess I've never even noticed the difference.
Yeah.
You sure it doesn't say Matt is nasty?
No, it says malt.
Okay.
I'm looking at Matt, though. But he's also got yet another phenomenal vest on today, kids. Just to let you guys know.
That's the way to go, Brother Matt.
He is vest-tacular. A lot of you chiming in about the licensing and stuff. And the qualified immunity. Here's the thing about qualified immunity. They need it, yes, because otherwise you're going to ask them to do what? Carry their own insurance? Who's going to insure a cop?
There'll be people that'll do it. It's like
yeah, but some of them have some of that. But because what's going to end up happening is, you know, here's the thing: if you're going to do if you're going to take away some of that or make them do that, then you're going to have tort reform, where if you take a cop to court on some bogus thing, your ass is going to end up paying for it, because otherwise those cops will be in there. I mean, I've got cop friends, tons of them. You'd be in there all the time. Every time somebody comes in, oh my God, they beat me.
Yeah.
So we can do better. But I look at the head of the snake, if you will. And if you've got a guy that's going around saying your rights matter out here in Tennessee on the roads, go somewhere else, that's a serious issue. That is. I mean, kudos to him to talking to anybody and trying to, talk about it. But several of you have chimed in. You've gone through this. And suspended license, not suspended license, $15,000, $12,000. And some of you talking about the cars, too, keeping your car for that many days. I wonder what it costs for the impound of the car.
I've heard everything from like $150 a day to $400 a day.
Yeah, think about it. If it's $200 a day and it's there and you're not poor, but you're living paycheck, you're getting by, and you're in there for 5 days, that's an extra $1,000 on top of the tow. And I don't know what a tow is. It was
about $150.
Yeah, so you're looking at close to $1,200 just for that.
I have my car towed 8 feet, and it cost me $150.
Really? Oh, that's right. Yeah, you guys know that was hilarious. That was last year when you got your car that was stuck in the mud, right?
Stuck in the mud, yeah.
Oh man, Brother Bilal, you should have just used some cat litter.
That's right, Bell.
It was pouring down rain.
Well, you know what? You'll think about it next year. Would it have been worth it? Would you like that $150 back?
No, I prefer being not stuck in the mud.
Yeah, but the cat litter. So you get $10 a cat litter and away you go.
Well, I don't think it would work.
He didn't think it was work. He doesn't. He
Too
doesn't.
rainy and too muddy.
Oof.
Well, if it was more water than mud, you could be very well right.
It was so funny, though. I remember he comes in and goes, it cost me $150. I'm like, do you not have AAA? No was the answer.
I mean, I got part of it back because of my roadside insurance, but not a lot.
No, not a lot. So there you guys go. All right, coming up, we got all kinds of stuff about the big frost coming. Speaking of frosties, the big frost is coming.
With malt.
But malt has coconut in it. Coconut is the worst. Who thinks that's good to put inside?
I hate coconut.
Right? Raisins? Guess what? You got a new pal on the Mount Rushmore of crap people shouldn't eat.
I've hated coconut since I was a kid.
Was it Almond Joy? Hey, I got a great idea. Let's make a great candy bar, and then we're going to put a bunch of crap in it, like coconut.
Yeah, we're going to ruin it.
Yes.
Well, and it's dark chocolate, too. Who wants that?
Looks like a poop in a bar. You don't want any of that stuff. I had some nuts for pooping. It's a Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
$2:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Jolton, we've got an injury wreck reported 24 westbound just after Whites Creek Pike. That's going to be exit 35. Talbot's Corner, a crash 65 southbound at the downtown, or rather the northern split downtown. Snow, sleet, freezing rain on the way. ABC News chief meteorologist Ginger Z says the forecast is still changing.
A lot of Pacific and Gulf moisture meeting up with that serious Arctic that's coming far south. So ice in the middle, right? Dallas over north of Little Rock over to Nashville, Raleigh, Virginia Beach, even into Delaware is going to ride along and depend very heavily on where that low pressure system sets up. So that's why you're seeing changes in the forecast, because as we get closer, it's going to be a very, very narrow line that ends up with the worst of that icing.
All right. So here in Middle Tennessee, for most of Middle Tennessee, accumulations include 2 to 8 inches of snow and sleet and as much as a quarter inch of ice. Again, that's most of Middle Tennessee. But we're talking up to 2 inches of ice in southwest Middle Tennessee. These 4 counties, Lawrence, Lewis, Perry, and Wayne counties. The Tennessee Highway Patrol defending its DUI arrest practices after DUI cases were tossed when toxicology tests come back negative for drugs and alcohol. Colonel Matt Perry, when questioned by State Senator Mark Pody during a hearing yesterday, rejected claims of a quota system and said troopers rely on field sobriety tests.
There was some news articles that were forwarded to me, and it has to do with people being stopped and actually arrested for DUI, but there was no evidence of that.
There's certainly no quota like some of these articles have pushed.
So Colonel Perry acknowledged the impact on people whose charges were later dismissed, but says no improper arrests have been identified according to their experts. Lawmakers were told the Highway Patrol's reviewing training and consulting outside agencies on improvements. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Beacon Capital doesn't want you below freezing when it comes to your taxes. They want to help you with that. How about this? They can help you with everything from all the stuff in the new One Big Beautiful Bill, very big, like up to $10,000 deduction in car loan interest. But there are things in this that you have to know. That's why you need experts like Beacon. They can even help you. I mean, like they've got an amazing thing. Remember the whole thing, no tax on Social Security? How about this? If you're over 65, you're eligible for an additional senior deduction up to $6,000 with phase-outs. Not a complete elimination of Social Security taxes benefits, but it's going to help, right? But again, you have to know what you're doing, and that's what they do. Maybe you need some help when it comes to your retirement, and you're worried about outliving your money. Maybe you're worried about, hey, long-term care. healthcare itself, even estate planning. Beacon has you covered. They're local. They're amazing. So if you want a free, personalized financial consultation, not going to cost you anything. Sit down and talk with them. They're local. Call Beacon today. 615-488-9303. 615-488-9303. Or check them out online at beaconcm.com or 615-488-9303. For Beacon Capital Management, this is a paid placement. USS, I was talking to them last hour. They want to help you and make sure that everything's okay with your home, especially if you haven't had time to get to that weatherproofing as we were talking about with this big storm coming in. You might need them afterwards. And you know how important your home is. They're going to come out. They're going to take care of you like nobody's business. And you heard about the water in the crawl space, that stuff that can happen. They've got you covered, right? It's good to know that even if things go wrong, there's an amazing company out there that can help you. And they're awesome. So whether it is your crawl space, whether it is, your basement, no matter what it is, they're there for you. They're going to come out, give you a free inspection, make sure everything's okay. And if you get through this and you want to make sure that stuff you don't ever have to worry about again, that's, again, why you need USS. They're going to get it fixed right away and with a lifetime warranty. They are amazing. USS, United Structural Systems, they're more than a team of problem solvers. They are. They're your neighbors. You care about the customers. Visit USSTN.com to learn more or call 615-488-7855. At USS, we're more than waterproofing. We're committed. We're trustworthy. We are USS. It is the Chad Benson Show, powered by NCA National. Certified alarms, no long-term contracts. License number 645. It's coming in, kids. The massive blizzard. The huge ice storm. This is the kind of thing that the frozen people would be happy with. Snow Miser would be happy with. I'm Mr. Snow Miser. Remember that guy? So be prepared for it out there. It's going to be nasty. It's going to be cold. But we're going to handle it. It's going to be fine. And I go back and I say this, all kidding aside on this one, make sure if you've got somebody down the street, or somebody right? Your friend, the lady down the street, the older gentleman whose wife passed away a few years ago, and they're out there, and you see them all the time. That, especially people on fixed income and stuff, that you pop by and make sure they're okay the next couple of days, because it is going to get ugly, and the cold kills fast, so fast. And sometimes, especially other people are close on the edge when it comes financially things. They'll choose to go without in certain things, and you can't have that here. You can't. So, and they're expecting power outages and a bunch of other things. So we're going to keep you aware of everything. That's why we got the weather wizard, right? And we've got all of the stuff going on. And, so we got you covered. We do. Even on Monday, when it is you could ice skate to work. We got you covered. I'm not ice skating.
You're not going to?
No. I'm telling you, if you've go look at when the canals fill up in Holland, and people get off work and they walk down and they put their skates on and they skate home. It's so cool. It is so cool.
That'll save on gasoline costs.
That will save on gasoline costs. You know, the cool thing about Holland is you walk around there, there's bikes everywhere. Because, Amsterdam, but there's bikes everywhere. Those are everybody's bikes. You just get up on a bike and you ride it somewhere, and then you just get off and leave it there, and somebody else pick it up and take it off with it.
Yeah, but what about the smell of marijuana?
It's everywhere, man. You can't. No, it's not. It's not. Or the hookers. They don't just let you wander in there. And by the way, they're all. It's weird. They're all licensed and everything. They have to have all this stuff. It's all pretty much above board.
They're bonded and licensed.
That's right. Which is what you want in a situation
regulation.
Right, and they make them go get tested all the time for all kinds of stuff. And they pay their taxes. They do. They pay their taxes so they can have wooden clogs and windmills and free health insurance. What? Kids, it's cold outside.
Now it's time for the Weather Wizard's Snowpocalypse 2026 update.
Tell us about the Snow King. Oh, yeah.
No, baby. So Ken, the snow. What are we looking at snow-wise? Let's go with snow.
2 to 8 inches.
Okay.
In most of Middle Tennessee. And so what they're saying is it could be 2 inches, let's say, in Wilson County, but then maybe in Williamson County, there's 6 inches.
Okay.
It's just so it could differ locally. It just depends on how the snow flies and where it lands. So 2 to 8 inches starting Friday at midnight, ending at Sunday, 6 p.m. in the evening.
Okay.
Now, there's also a chance for at least a 1/4 inch of ice in most of Middle Tennessee, these places where there is anywhere from 2 to 8 inches of snow possible. Now, the ice forecast is much worse for 4 counties in southwest Middle Tennessee. Those counties being Lawrence, Lewis, Perry, and Wayne counties, they're under an ice storm warning. And there could be up to 2 inches of ice in places in those counties, also northern Alabama. And that's what you do not want. And the National Weather Service is saying, expect power outages and damaged trees. Damn you, trees.
Damn
it, tree. Damaged trees. And then it says travel could be impossible.
Man, I'm looking. CNN's got their guy on there, and he's got the little clicker. He's just moving around. He's all, check it out here. Extreme snow dump. Extreme snow dump crushing the south of America. So it begins tomorrow in the plains, intensifies it over the weekend. It ends on Monday, but that's when the cool comes in, and it's going to freeze everything, everybody.
Yeah, we're not going to get above freezing starting tomorrow night until the middle of next week at the earliest.
All right, so my latest, Sunday. So Saturday goes into Sunday. Sunday into about 29 is the high, 11. Monday, 22 the high, 5.
Yeah.
Warms up a little bit Wednesday, 36 into 20. But then, Tuesday into Wednesday. Wednesday drops down to 9 as our low.
Dude, 36 on Wednesday is going to feel so good.
It is.
After what we're going to experience.
Oh, and then get ready for it because it is, once we get into, the following week, it's going to be, we're looking at, for the next, there's a couple days here again where we're looking in low 20s. Wednesday the 28th, Thursday the 29th, Friday the 30th, and Saturday the 31st. We don't get above 30, and our overnight lows are 6 to 9 degrees.
Yeah, man.
So
drip your faucets. Drip your faucets.
You got to do it.
Cover those outside faucets like the good guy from USS told us.
Yeah, you got just, Be smart, too. If you don't have to drive, especially, like the snow is one thing, but when it gets that cold and the freezing rain comes and that stuff, just don't do it.
Yeah. Well, and like what we were talking about earlier, too, if for no other reason, there are people who are going to need ambulances to take them to the hospital for things like heart attacks.
Yes.
Maybe they slip and fall and hit their head, just illness, and first responders are going to need as much room as possible.
Plus, our men and women out there who are not only delivering mail, but think about the people that are going to be out there making sure your lights come back on, your power comes back on, that those things which are going to be, those guys and gals are going to be working hard the next several days.
Yeah, they're going to be real busy.
Ooh-wee, kids. Ooh-wee. People keep sending me this story. I don't know if this is true. I mean, I heard it's true about the 5-year-old boy that came home from preschool or wherever. They ICE allegedly used him as bait to detain some people. And I'm like, here's what I know about a lot of this stuff when it comes to ICE and the protesters. There's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of stuff that's being said from both sides at times that turns out not to be true. And some stuff that does. That's why I say it takes a day or two, to suss stuff out. And it's sad. It's sad that we're in that position. And if they did indeed grab a 5-year-old boy to use him as bait from preschool, that's kind of chicken crap. I was going to say the other word, but we're not podcasting. And then Bell would have forgot to hit the dump button. And then one of you guys would have called and go, he said yes first, kind of hell.
I hit the dump button when you're not even cussing.
That's a good idea.
Brother Bill he is ready.
So check this out. This is interesting. Don't forget to check your antifreeze in your radiator. Forget about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
Don't forget, antifreeze is poisonous to your pets.
That's right. And it tastes sweet.
Yeah, for some reason.
Get yourself some cat litter, too, in case you get stuck.
Yeah. Bell, if you guys didn't hear, $150 to get Bell out of a ditch.
I got a big old bag of cat litter in my Hyundai. Just in case.
Just in case what, a cat jumps in there?
Just in case he picks up a stray.
Feels like, hey, I could take a dumper in here. I want to know, so here's something, and you know this, man. My dogs they're little warm weathery dogs, right? They've got jackets.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried, because I already know once it gets about 20-ish, they don't want to go to the bathroom. They'd lie to me. They go, let's go to the bathroom. They get outside. They pee for 1 second. They come upstairs. What's Fritz do in the cold?
Little Fritz, he just stands there. When it's snowing, right out the door, usually I've got to lock his leash because, he's ready to go. I don't have to do that whenever it snows because the minute he gets outside the door, he just stands there and looks. And I have to pull him out to do something. Like I said, this little fella, 2 years ago, he went 27 hours without doing anything. I looked all over the house, nothing. And when when it finally melted off enough where he had a place to go, he went. So what I do is I lay an old blanket out just outside the front door. And that way, whenever it's time to take him out, I just lift that blanket up and there's just grass.
Oh.
And that encourages him.
Oh, yeah.
He does not like his little fella and his little fat belly getting in that snow.
I understand that completely.
I do too. I wouldn't like it.
So people are a lot of people chiming in about their dogs. But they don't want to be out there in this. Some dogs they enjoy it. Right?
Some dogs love it.
The Greenlander dogs.
I saw a Instagram reel yesterday of somebody letting out a flock of ducks from a barn, and the ducks walk all the way out, stand there for about 2 seconds in the snow, turn around and walk right back in. They're like, screw this.
Yeah. My dogs are not going to be thrilled by this. My wife's like, she's going to have to get them fur coats. My fur coats, wearing up fur coats.
Right.
So it is just, your animal. And that's the other thing, too. The animals out there, they're going to be out there in a lot of these places, especially cats. Poor cats that are out there like this.
You're leaving your pets out in this weather. You're a horrible human being, and you don't deserve your pets.
Although the interesting thing is, if we were in Scandinavia, they would be like, you should leave your children outside overnight like this because it's cute for them for the weather. Yeah, they do. Yeah. I follow this Swedish girl on TikTok, and she reads Swedish names off.
Yeah.
And you think, so you'll see somebody's what's her name? One of, give me an ABBA, one of the ABBAs.
Benny.
What's her last name?
Benny Anderson.
Yeah. So, but she would say his name is pronounced Björn. I'm like, I'm just going to go with Benny.
Well, it's funny you say that because Benny's real name is something along the lines of Boren Gore.
Yeah. So.
And they just Americanized it with Benny.
Yeah. So, but
we're just going to call you Benny.
Like the names though, because you think it sounds and like the J is zh. So like Bjorn would be Bjorn, and you're like, oh my goodness. And we're going to be that cold this weekend. We're going to be colder than Greenland. Let's see what Greenland's weather's like, shall we? Greenland weather today, 35 degrees. Monday, 34 with a low of 30. We're going to be way colder than they are. No word if Trump is going to take us over anytime soon. It's going to be great.
Need to hit the Greenland beaches this weekend, baby.
Oh, yeah, we are. I'm going to go do a little whale hunting, right? I got enough of the seals. Yeah.
Just make sure it's one of those almost extinct whales.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Meat tastes better.
Just not the beluga whales.
No, not. They're
I love
liars.
those beluga whales.
Those beluga whales, they lie all the time. You can't trust a word they say at all. All right, coming up, Matt. He's here. He's got a new vest on. Find out what he's talking about. Reach out to us across all of our social media. We love when you guys do. Love, hate, everything in between. Chad Benson, Super Talk 99.7. The weather is coming in, and Matt's got a vest on.
Everyone talks about the weather, and nobody does anything about it. Have you noticed that, Chad?
Well,
Everybody talks about it, nobody does anything about it.
We should definitely legislate some better weather. Although we do have those chemtrails. Aren't they trying to do some stuff?
That's what I thought. Can we just get a couple of those planes up and prevent all of this ice and stuff?
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
right?
one would think.
One would think,
Well, they
man.
used, but see, here's the thing. They use the chemtrails for bad, for evil, not for good.
Oh, that's right. What
Not
are they
for
doing?
good.
That's because they're poisoning the sky, so we breathe it in and things.
And affecting our minds. They're making us docile. They used to do it in the fluoride. Now we got wise to that.
We got wise to that, right? And they turned the frogs gay. Now we're going to turn the birds. Well, they're not real anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's what I hear. That's what I hear. What's going on?
Nothing. What's going on with you, man?
You know, the weather.
Outside.
A lot of folks want to talk about the weather. And I get it. How quickly something that seems fun and lighthearted and, turns you into an 11-year-old child can become a human tragedy. And that's what we're talking, the difference between snow and freezing rain and sleet, right?
Yes.
And I guess, at least according to Dan Thomas, and we'll talk to him again today at 3:35. So it's in order of significance, negative significance, it's snow, which is fine. Snow, it's all good. Yeah, make snowman. And then sleet, which is not good.
Not good.
But it's at least pellet. And as Dan Thomas said, freezing rain. The problem with freezing rain is it comes down wet, and then it covers everything, and then immediately freezes. And so everything becomes an ice rink.
Yeah, totally. Like, and this sounds weird to say, but there are going to be people that Monday wake up, think they're going to go outside for something. They're going to slip, break their hip because it's frozen solid, and they're going to have to go to the hospital. So,
and I plan on talking about this a little bit. And I don't pretend to be an expert in driving in snow, but I've driven in snow, and I have a 4-wheel drive, and I think I'm okay at what I do. I understand, to turn into the skid and all of those things. What I'm fascinated with are people that claim that they can drive on ice.
You can't.
You can't drive on ice.
No. And by the way, turning into the skid means nothing at that point because it's inertia.
You're skidding.
Inertia has taken everything away from you.
Well, I mean, you can potentially impact where the impact is going to be.
Yeah.
But there's going to be an impact.
There's going to be an impact. You will stop when you hit whatever you're hitting.
And you might be able to mildly affect what that is.
Yes. But it's a small. It's slamming on the brakes, turning your wheel into it, turning it out. I mean, you're steering to disaster is the best way to describe that.
Well, but but there'll be people out, there'll be looky-loos, and folks will get out, and then we're draining emergency services because now we got to get you out of a ditch.
And we were talking about, you forget about the people that are like all the linemen and everybody going to have to be out everywhere. All those people that are going to go out there because people are going to have heart attacks and get into accidents. Just keep off the road.
Well, and I was talking to Chris Hand about it a minute ago. I mean, whether it's Big Grocery, I think Big
Grocery, he was right.
I think Big Generator has something to do with this.
Oh, Big Generator, of course they do.
I mean, come on. Because
Big
I went
Jacket.
to Big
Big Mittens.
How could we forget Big Mittens?
Big stocking cap.
So
Big Generator was a Yes album.
I went to I went to BJ's Wholesale Club last night. Had to get gas, had to pick up something at BJ's, and went in, and I was fast. People watching was great. There were multiple people with generators getting generators. Good for you, but it's always good to be prepared, and that's when people buy them. But the amount of people that were buying just like buggies
of stuff,
of groceries.
Yeah. Like, how long do you think this is going to last?
I don't think it's going to last a month.
No.
But
it'll last a few days. It'll be uncomfortable in some positions. Some people are going to lose some power. But you know what?
Just
even
be
if
warm.
Even if
Stay
it's
warm.
frosty next week, at some point, everybody's like, we got to get back to life.
And just stay warm. That's the biggest thing. You don't want to freeze to death.
Amen. Amen. His name is Matt. He's got more of these really good tips straight ahead. You guys keep it here.